How's it going, everybody? Welcome, welcome. This is Heroes Hype Tempo Storm Series 2, Week 4. It's my pleasure to be casting this. I'll be your master of ceremonies for Evening of Lauren. I'm joined by the truth, the showman of heroes, my man in Baron. How you doing tonight, man?
Dude, I'm doing so well. Get to cast with you twice this week. Back doing Heroes Hype. The OG amateur tournament, dude. It's an absolute pleasure to be back. I'm stoked. Tempo Storm putting on an amazing show. All the great people behind the scenes putting this together. A lot of sick teams signed up tonight. It's going to be epic.
Yeah, we had over 20 teams registered last I checked. If memory serves correctly. Yeah, man. I mean, the amateur scene is alive and well. Like you said, you and I got the cast on Monday. The open division was hot like fire, to say the very least. We saw Hold It Down do exactly that, pave their way towards a pretty incredible progression of events over on Tuesday as well. I don't know how much you got a chance to see that, but these boys showed up.
Yeah, they're absolutely on their game. We got to see a lot of really solid endeavors, a lot of fun compositions. We got to see a lot of epic role swaps.
Mm-hmm.
But really, I think it came down to we saw them from the beginning, particularly Hold It Down, and obviously they came out on top in the event, and I think justifiably so. I think they're looking incredibly strong right now, definitely the forefront of the MC. But of course, another team that was in that finals looked really solid was Imported Support, and they're here tonight competing as well, so got to keep an eye out for them. A lot of other fan favorites have showed up again tonight, so as you said, the AM scene's alive and well. I feel like I think we're in the third resurgence of really just what the AM scene's all about. Limiting to only 8 teams for the NA Open Division bracket really forces every team to show up every week, put in their all. We've got other awesome tournaments like this to just field even bigger competition. It's sick.
Yeah, man, you make some really good points. I think the amateur scene here in North America is as skilled and as talented as it's ever been. I think you see the mid-season brawl, you see the crucible, you see there's an actual pathway towards the professional level. You want to make sure you show up big time, but you also want to make sure you put your best foot forward here at Heroes Hype. This has been the foundation of the amateur scene since the early days. So you definitely, this is no longer the place. You and I have seen some wild comps here ourselves, but Wednesday night is no longer the place to just show up and feel you're gonna do whatever you want. You got to put your best foot forward. I'm excited to see Imported Support. We're gonna see them first tonight, going up against Flexing Noobs. We've heard from our good old fashioned Argy. You know what, Baron? They just don't make him like that anymore. He's such a good guy. Such a good guy. Well, yeah.
Oh, dude, here with the
Imported Support. We've seen them in action a number of times. This is a team that actually has some land level experience. They made their way through the ranks. I think they played in. It was like the summer championship last year. On the West Coast.
Yeah, they played in LA at the ESL Studios.
Yep. FZ, or as you like to say, FZ Ignition.
FZ. He doesn't even call himself that, but he started to because I've started doing it apparently, or something like that. I don't know. Or was it one of the players was like, I didn't even call myself as I am now. He's Canadian, got to represent. He probably figured he didn't have a hope of trying to get away with FZ Ignition in this market, but there you are. So
we're going to see those boys in action first. I'm really excited to see how they shape up. They did a really good job this week over the Open Division.
Oh, yeah.
In the Cup. So I know they're looking to really jump in there. Flame is Lame will be here as well. We actually had a really good week last week. I think it was some of the most intense. The past couple of weeks have been some of the most intense amateur level action we've had at Heroes Hype, period, in my opinion. Flame is Lame went up against Firm Handshake. You and I were talking about that before we started up. Firm Handshake got their revenge. We saw them exactly. We saw them duke it out. Week 2, Flame is Lame comes out on top. Week 3 last week. Firm Handshake, they're like, we don't want to have any of this. So they came back and put on a dominant showing, and they were able to come away the victors of last week.
So many veterans on that roster. I mean, Lex, Uther, Kobe, Heyo, Vestige, it's so Necromongers, so many vets on that squad. So I'm not surprised at all that they put up a really good showing.
Yeah, and I mean it's paved the way for them to actually be in the lead. They are 18 points into the season with Flame is Lame. They're rivals for the season, just behind them with 14. I'm sure both of these teams would like to have the three-peat and go at it yet again in the finals. But with teams like Imported Support entering the fray, there may be some.
We're having
That's
some
awesome.
fun lobby banter. And so I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this path. Obviously, we're going to start the night off with Imported Support up against Flexin Noobs. But the winner of this goes into the winner of 7th Empire and Team Numerics. 7th Empire has looked really strong. I'm not as familiar. Oh, actually, I recognize some of the names on Team Numerics, but obviously 7th Empire has been doing a lot. Real fake Dreadnought, Gromden as well, Pumpkin Slayer. The winner of that goes into likely Flame is Lame. So this is going to be, and the winner of that, oh my god, this is going to be a sick couple of games to start the night off. I am so ready.
Yeah, we're gonna jump right into it. First game of the night is gonna be on Cursed Hollow. Switch this over to the draft. Meow. Tassadar is already gonna be the ban, wasting no time yanking Genji off the board. Now, keep in mind we are gonna be playing on the live patch this week. However, Stukov will be unavailable for 2 weeks per the custom and the norm there. But the reworked Zul, that bad boy's up for grabs.
Oh yeah, he's gonna be hitting hard, doing some work, being really annoying, and that's always exciting to see how teams sort of adapt to that as the news days progress. Illidan, actually, they can be the first pickup here. Who's on the right? It's Imported on the right, isn't it? Yeah.
It is. I need to update that because I'm good at this and I know what I'm doing.
That was a subtle reminder. It wasn't really. But yeah, that's actually really interesting. The first pick Illidan. So traditionally we didn't see Illidan come out even remotely near the top of a lot until the very early days. I want to say a year and a half ago. In the Rhaegar Illidan Abathur 1-2-3 lock-ins, Korea, NA was doing it as well. And the reason why is because Illidan's very counterable, or was traditionally very counterable. But now looking at this, Greyman Abathur picked up an awesome one too as well. Abathur, a classic Illidan pairing, but it looks like Ariel is going to be here as well, automatically snapped up. So Uther's still on the board. Rhaegar, another great pairing with the Greyman as well. So there's still options.
Yeah, I mean, first picking Illidan isn't exactly the frightful endeavor that it may have been, say, 3 to 6 months ago. Hunt has definitely seen a resurgence, global presence. He can just show up off that top rope at any given moment. He can have a huge impact. So it's not the scariest thing. You backed it up with Ariel and Stitches. It's not the most immediate synergy apparent you could ever find. But Crystal Aegis does a lot to help Illidan. It definitely opens the door for the Hunt to be the heroic of choice for Illidan at level 10. But I'm curious to see what kind of follow-up they're going to have towards Stitches' hook. Because normally you want like an Uther to be able to stun right afterwards, or a Malfurion. Do we see that kind of oddball double support copy?
Well, we're not going to see the Uther Ariel in this case. They're going to deny that one.
No.
Wisely so, I think. Though they could have actually had the opportunity to pick that themselves if they'd so desired. So I think that's interesting. And they actually could have forced their opposing team to ban it. So we'll see. Interesting ban takeout there. But we actually were talking about this on Monday, not seeing a classic, as we say, follow-up with that Stitches. But we ended up seeing it pulled off very well by Hold It Down. They had a Jaina to follow up. That initial burst damage, the slow actually did enough that instance. So let's see if that they might go into something a little bit more along that route there. Because Detainment Strike and Hook are exactly opposite abilities.
Right.
So unless Ariel is like, we'll pull you back, then I need to get in front of you and we'll pinball you further back. I mean, there's some potential anti-synergy there. But I like the composition that's coming out here so far. Flex and Noobs. So I see the synergies happening here. This is a very Bruiser composition.
Bruiser's a very apt description for what we're seeing from Flex and Noobs so far. Diablo is full NBA Jam. That's how you aggressively engage and begin any team fight. Abathur is going to add some wily things to the mix. Double Greymane could have a ton of damage for the members of Imported Support that have to worry about. Rhaegar for the ancestral healing at the well time, and never trust a big button to smile and Verum.
Girl is poison. Yes, absolutely. Okay, this is a really interesting draft, and I like it because it's a combination of 5 very strong heroes who can work well together. We've got a lot of slows, we've got a lot of control, we have also a decent amount of sustained, and we've just got a lot of annoyance and aggression here. I think putting this all together, we don't have, as you said, the classic vault. We can get a Feral Spirit, a root off the end of that. But I think all in all, this hook is going to be more for the re-engage mid-fight. You know what I mean? Or just to get someone out of position enough to force an overreaction from someone like Diablo, force him in as well. If they can catch someone like the Rhaegar, the Greymane, force the Diablo to charge in, split the team, that's when you're looking good.
Well, the more I'm thinking about it, in Virim, the Stitches Thrall synergy could actually have a huge impact because nowadays Thrall's Feral Lunge, the root thing, hits more than one person. So we could very well see an instance where it's like someone gets hooked, they get brought forward, the root goes out from Thrall, and it also roots people that would love to jump in there like Rhaegar or Diablo to try to help, and then they're just standing there helplessly watching their teammate get rocked. It could be very interesting to see.
Absolutely. And and now that we're seeing Sunder back in the meta a lot more, pull the hook in, split the rest of the team off of Sunder, and you've got a very isolated player. That's definitely something to watch out for. You can push them farther ahead, push the team farther back. That's a lot of control. This draft to me is screaming control. And you've also got the stun from the Hunt coming in as well. So the Stitches knows that you can get a very easy follow-up off the back of that root with that Hunt as well. So I'm really liking this. Obviously, last pick Tracer coming in as well for the Flex and Noobs. I think the Tracer is going to have an okay time in this draft. I think without a classic sort of the pairing, without having the Tassadar, without having a Medivh, that additional shield. Obviously, we're going to have the Abathur hat, which is going to help, but the Abathur is going to want to be giving the love to the Greymane. So Tracer's, and especially with the, with the copy, Tracer's going to be on her own a lot in these fights. So we'll see how that goes for her here.
Yeah, the Tracer had to round this composition out for Flexing Noobs is something of a question mark for me. Normally, you want to see like that Tash Tracer or something like that, where it's like it's immediate and apparent that she's going to be safe. But I don't know if that's necessarily going to be the case. So the positioning is going to have to be there to say the very least. But this is it, man. The first game of the night. Flexing Noobs up against imported support. On the left side, we got Flex Squads playing Diablo. Solidity is on Greymane. Citrusy's on Abathur. Noob Slayer 76 is on Rhaegar. And the other Noob Slayer, number 67 actually, he'll be playing Tracer.
Yes, indeed. And over on the right-hand side in the red trunks, we have imported support. We have Draded on that Lunara. FC Ignition playing that Ariel Swabs Magoo. On the Stitches, the Aware is on Thrall and holding it down. Lastly, on that Illidan is the boy himself, BBJ. What? You're back, BBJ. And not on support again. Hello, buddy. How you doing?
Feels good, man.
I didn't even see him in the lobby. That was a complete and total surprise to me.
Just snuck right on in there.
Oh, look at him. Sneaking right into our hearts. That big baby Jesus.
Flex Squad on Diablo, looking to get the party started, waiting in the wings. I hear the Jaws music already. Doesn't get the Shadow Charge, is looking for the overpower. Old Swabs Magoo is like, actually, I'm just going to wait on back if you don't mind. So no heavy engagement, no one out of position just yet.
Swabs Magoo's like, guys, I just wanted a day at the beach. Can you not? Come on. I've got my pail. Look, I've got my little floaty toy. Easy peasy. But in the bot lane, Citrusy's going to have a struggle against this. I like the fact that we're seeing that. Wow, the push is coming in every direction right now. It feels like a little bit of hesitation coming in. Ooh, nice attainments right there from FC Ignition. It feels like a little bit of hesitation on these rotations from Flexen right now. They're a little unsure of how they want to land this. I think they've got it set up now. Let's see if they can recover here because they've already taken quite a bit of damage.
Yeah, the way they're approaching this early game is conceptually opposed to their composition. When you take Diablo, what you're looking for is that level 1 heavy aggression. He shadow charges in, he gets that displacement, he tries to get takedowns, and what we've seen so far is actually a very passive approach to this early game. And what we see as a result of that, Flex Squad steps out there, starts getting melted down by Lunara's poke, and there isn't really much to show for it.
Yeah, I mean, Flexion Squad, whoa, up in the top lane as well. It's actually going to take a lot of damage to the Amus are there. Pulse Bomb's not going to connect as well. Noob Slayer himself might also be in a bad spot, but Flex Squad does get the hat, but Draded is on the run, and I'm sorry, Flex. I think this is going to be the end here. He's trying his best, but no, he is going to fall, and the rest of the team has arrived. And
Solidity tried to come in to have the rebuttal, but then Swabs Magoo makes the rotation as well. The hook does land, and I do believe that poison is going to be enough to hat the well. Whoa!
No.
17 health before finally going down, netting the second takedown for imported support. A little late on the aggression for Flexing Noobs, and it costs them quite a bit.
And he burned his tap there. That's actually a big deal because the first tribute is going to spawn either now or in 15 seconds. It is in 15. So this is going to be a rough position for him to be in. He's not going to have a tap for this next engage. With this combination, Noobs player as well, just getting one more auto. As the ignition, no! Oh, baby, he survives. Beautiful play there from the Tracer player to survive through that. But like I said, I think they might just have to give this one up. They are not in a great position here.
M is for micro in Verum. Tracer had exactly that to be able to save their bacon. Denies the takedown, but I mean, the threat and presence is absolutely there. There's going to be a hook on Rhaegar. Noobslayer 76 gets the hat from Abathur to help them get out of there. The rotation's on the way. F's ignition on the frowny face, Cloud. It's so sad. Such a sad angel.
Oh. And I believe for the record, it's Emma's and Mancy. Come on, man. Get it.
That's fair.
That's fair. Up in the top lane, obviously, we have the Abathur body soaking. Illidan's going to match as best they can. They were able to pick up that siege camp for both teams, so they are going to have that pressure across the boards can be dealt with. The Aware might actually be in a little bit of trouble here. The Hat's coming in, trying to take him down, but no, actually not quite connecting with that final lick of damage. Evset ignition with the nice heal, securing that up in the top lane. Illidan's cleaning up these bruisers as well. So despite originally being down quite a fat chunk of experience, Flex and Noobs has recovered a little bit. Now they're only down a level.
Yeah, it's very realistic and plausible for them to be on even talent tiers by the next tribute. If they play it correctly, FC Ignition does get the bomb on them, but that's not going to be enough for a takedown. Does deplete the Hope bar, though. Swaz, Magoo, and Drada applying all kinds of pressure in the mid lane. Diablo's not really much in position to do anything about that. Gets hooked for their trouble. The Overpower is going to knock Drada in the tower range, but Flex Squad should be able to get back behind his fort and save his neck. Rotations here from Solidity. A little dicey there for Diablo.
Yeah, not a great position to be in. We have all three sets of towers, all three sets of gates, or just gates, I guess, down for the side of Flex and Noobs. So they're not in the ideal position. Evset Ignition's actually going to DC here, but they don't even care. They're just like, that's fine. This is fine. As Ariel bot, this is fine. As Ariel bot, it's just doing work here. This next tributes will spawn on the top lane, so I would expect to see Abathur or do exactly that. Burrow right down onto the bot lane to get the split soak going. But let's see if the side of Flex and Noobs can actually get in position to launch a coordinated defense here, because right now they're pretty split, and I'm not sure how well they're going to be able to defend this.
What we just saw was pretty much the exact opposite of coordination. Flex Squad goes in without the backup of his team and no support around, and Diablo falls as Noobslayer 76 just now arrives on the scene. That takes any hope of the second tribute away from Flexing Noobs, and Slidity's like, ooh.
Nice juke there, hopping into Worgen form, getting himself out of there, making himself scarce. Swabs Magoo barely by an inch missing that hook there. But level 10 is now right around the corner with 2 tributes to 0. This is looking like a very good position for imported support there in a good spot, especially with Illidan soloing the boss. BBJ is like, guys, I got this, easy peasy. As they're also mounting pressure in the mid lane with all 4 members here. They're looking to get level 10, looking to get an engaged Halloran. This could be the beginning of the end for Flex and Noobs if they don't make something happen right now.
Yeah, this is the precipice of a snowball that would be difficult for any team to come back from. Next tribute will be up here any second, and as I talk about it, here it is in the top left portion of the map. Heroics are now picked up for the members of imported support. That's a huge power spike and advantage. There's nothing Flexing Noobs can realistically do about this, so this is going to be Curse with Heroics. It's going to be pretty rough.
Yeah, this is going to be a not ideal position. Swabs Magoo actually gets caught here. Might be in a rough spot. Nicely done. Does get taken down. Beautifully executed by the side of Flex and Noobs. They don't want to overextend too far, though. Take this little victories where they can get them, because Illidan is still soloing its boss. Actually gets caught by the stun. And falls! BBJ!
I'm back here at the Resurrect. You'll notice that Stitches is back in action sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Just as I talked about the difficulty that Flexing Noobs would have over this next tribute without their heroics, they deny the prophecy in Verum to get the takedown on Stitches. They turn their attention to BBJ afterwards, get their second of the game, starting to climb their way back in, and they were actually able to steal away the tribute. Definitely even the playing field.
Oh, absolutely. I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, like I said, they need to make something happen right now, or this could be the beginning of the end, and they made something happen. Obviously, this is an Ariel bot, and we could see an they could elect to a pause here if you decide of imported support. They do have that option, but they're just choosing to play it out. Maybe just a little bit of overconfidence. Maybe, just feeling they don't really need it here. and they're gonna use it for when they actually really feel the pressure on. But Ariel, little stuff like the bot taking, wow, nice attainment strike though, actually coming from the Ariel. The pulse ball is gonna be there. They're actually gonna take him down potentially here, not having that, and the boss could potentially be stolen. Here's a split in the backline as well, nice ancestral as well. We already see the Apocalypse only connecting onto 2. Flex Squad trying to get himself out of there. Salsku getting caught in the boss as well. Beautifully executed, and oh man, we are seeing the side of imported support fall apart, Haloran.
This is turning into an outright bloodbath. 3 for 1, you lose Rhaegar, you steal away the boss. Did you see Ariel get clotheslined by the boss, by the way? Trying to live her life in the top lane. Doesn't necessarily work out for them by any stretch of the imagination. Not pausing this game, running around with this bot is starting to cost the members of imported support. I would submit to you, they could very well lose their top 4. The next tribute's up for grabs, and we see Abathur worming their way up there. You should be able to get that without any commercial interruption. So this game is definitely starting to swing back their way.
Drop the glasses down. Slug life coming out there from Abathur, securing that tribute and clearing out this bot lane. Deep tunneling back. Don't think he quite needed to burn that there, but that's not a big deal. That's just a little bit of min-maxing going on. The boss is going to clean up in the top lane by the Aware. Not a big deal there. They did end up losing that fort. 10 kills with the bigger importance there, and the fact that they've now lost 2 tributes, making it even, and this is Curse Point. So that's actually a pulse bomb being burned on the boss. Interesting decision by Noobslayer. I think he'll have that back up relatively soon. So he's burning off this ammo on the boss. But picking this up once again, nice calling here from Flex and Squad. They have been given a gift, and they have gift wrapped it, and they are putting it in the mail.
It might be a little awkward now for imported support because they might be in a position where they're like, maybe we should be pausing this game right now, guys. But no, we've already kind of made this gesture. We felt confident enough to be able to take this game even with the bot, but now it's definitely starting to come off the rails from a little bit. We may see a pause later on. You never exactly know. This boss is going to do some damage in the bottom lane. And either way, this next tribute will be a curse. Nice recall there from Noobslayer 76. But Hunt comes in off the top rope. BBJ tips his hat and says goodbye to Rhaegar.
Yeah, that is the power of that global ability. Feel the hatred of 10,000 years as he makes his presence known. I wanted to do that tonight. I get the opportunity to, not too often, so I gotta enjoy it when I can. But Abathur is doing a great job. Citrusy, his Abathur play has been spot on so far. Hats when they need him, but in the bot lane, BBJ has put Noobslayer 67 in a bad position. With that, that is the curse. That is the takedown. That is level 13. And this is them getting themselves back into this game.
Did he just land a hook on Tracer? That's
yeah,
pretty decent, all considered. First tribute will go over to imported support. Ariel bot traded Swabs Magoo and the Aware rotating, turning their attention towards the mid lane. BBJ has the handle on the bottom one for certain. Middle fort's going to go down as well. Swabs Magoo already starting to chip away at this. Overpower gets baited over the wall, but without any tower shots to worry about. Stitches is fine for the moment. Ariel is not getting any hope generation this entire time. That's going to have an impact, I'm sure.
Absolutely. As the Ariel bot is pushed way behind enemy lines, not having that Crystal just to keep herself up. That was the Aware burning the Sunder as well, but not quite in the position they needed here as Noobslayer is chasing this down. They really need to make something happen off the back of this, though. Nice recall as well. The Aware is getting caught out, but there's the beautiful Ancestral as well. They're going to trade 1 for 1 so far, and this is Rated taking a lot of damage. Swabs Magoo's trying to body block for him, jumping around as well, but Tracer's going to secure this takedown as well. Noobslayer 67 is doing work, but here comes the Hunt.
Noobslayer 67 and 76 are doing everything they can. And I feel a little bad for Solidity because Rhaegar was like, I can Ancestral healing either Tracer or Greymane. And Greymane, I'm sorry, but you don't have Noobslayer in front of your name, so let's go ahead.
Yeah.
So Solidity was just kind of a little bit of a Bible thump as he gets taken down, but they did do enough damage to set up some takedowns in their own way. Ultimately, it ends up being a 2-for-2 trade. Well, kind of a 3-for-2 when you think about it. But all things considered, you only lose 1 fort. You have the curse against you. Not a bad defense by any stretch of the imagination. And the next tribute, if they come away with that, they can answer back in a resounding fashion. So, Flex and Noobs, it could be worse.
It absolutely could be worse. And this Mule's getting value now. They did lose their keep wall in the bot lane, which is quite a bit of experience, now resulting in the level 16. But they're actually in a good position. They have 2 tributes to their name. If they can win a team fight, they can get a tribute, they get a curse. They are right back in this. And with the bosses around the corner to come back on the respawn, they could look in a very good position to start chaining some objectives, chaining their resources, and getting some really significant and permanent damage done to the infrastructure of imported support.
I mean, this Ariel bot knows how to snap the whip. They're finally generating some hope, but you gotta think maybe we should just pause this game and wait. Oh, there goes the Sundering. into the old Gorge combo. Of course, the classic. We see that all the time. Greymane gets deleted off the map immediately afterwards. Illidan is going to get taken down off screen, however. Spicy enough. Noob Slayer 76 starts to back away. Flex Squad gets the Ancestral Healing at the last possible moment. Rhaegar does end up getting taken down. You kicked my dog. It's going to be 11 takedowns.
Come to my house and you kick my dog. Thank you. Yes, absolutely. As Ariel Bot here is deciding that she really wants to fight. That was an old school one, buddy, but I'm right there with you. Level 16 still not reached for the side of Flexen Squad as this next tribute is about to spawn here very shortly, and that is going to be the points of contention. There is level 16 now. I have to say, Citrusy on this Abathur has been playing out of his mind, keeping his team in this game right now. Got to give a big shout out to the Slugman himself, as he's been doing work here so far. The rest of the team, though, not doing too bad. They just got to give themselves a deep breath, go into this team fight. This is the best one they are going to get. They need to make this happen.
Yeah, I feel like Flexing Noobs are managing resources as best they can. Like we talked about in the draft, having Tracer along with Greymane and Diablo, it's going to make it really difficult for Rhaegar to keep everyone alive. So every ability they can get off while they're breathing, it's going to be important. Flex Squad dives in. We do not have Ancestral Healing for this next progression. Ours going to get isolated and deleted immediately. There's a Sundering. BBJ makes his appearance thanks to the hunt. Jumps in on Solidity's face. Lunara actually gets taken down, and Greymane lives for the moment before finally going down. It's going to be 2 heroes apiece. Make that 3 for 2. BBJ dove a little too deep, got a little too close to the sun. The Aware with 79 health before getting patched up. Flex Squad still alive somehow in this progression. Gonna be the last one standing after this. Clone goes down, but can a clone get the Aware? He can do it. He can do it. All right, he got him. Oh, right as he went away.
Swabs Magoo will actually win this fight, though, even with the hat, I believe, if he's got his E on cooldown. That was a really nice engage, though, by Flexen Squad. He needs to keep this going. I'm not actually sure he can make this happen with the Abba hat. I think it's going to be too much. Where's the Illidan on this respawn, and will he have the hunt? He will have the hunt when he respawns, so they can make this happen if they come back in. Swabs Magoo just needs to delay. They need to keep vision so the hunt can come back in. This is what we're looking for, and very smartly, Flex Squad's backing out.
What an incredible 1v, well, kind of 1v2 matchup when you consider the Abathur had. When I saw Flex Squad's low health bar and Swabs Magoo had just hit the E to sustain himself, I was like, all right, Diablo's about to have a pretty rough day. But that talent at level 13, what do you go for, the Devastating Charge? That percentage damage is real on a high health pool hero like Stitches. But at the end of the day, without any contest,
hey,
look who came back. He's like, hey, sorry guys, there.
Oh, hey, sorry, bud. Oh, sorry there, bud. Just had a bit of a rainstorm there, and gotta go outside and get the maple trees in for the evening or something. I don't even know. Basically, that's what that's all about. But now they've got their support player back. Despite the fact that they're cursed, I think they're actually in a pretty decent position. Look at these lanes. They're not under too much threat, especially with Hook coming in. Halora, nice cleanse as well. They're trying to make this happen.
There you go. The Root also afterwards, so they're not going to be able to take down Diablo. But BBJ's not so fast, Sonny. A Sundering's going to body check Flex Squad into the boards. Ancestral Healing almost resets the health bar for Diablo, who is able to retreat out of there. Noob Slayer 76. Rhaegar jumps forward. The clone's going to get shredded down after getting rooted. Noob Slayer's like, guys, excuse me. I'm trying to get out of here. Illidan is not going to be able to close that kill out. Lunara goes down. Noob Slayer finally getting targeted and goes down. Ultimately is turning into a bloodbath, though these teams are at each other's throats. Greymane pun aside, there's the hook. Ouch.
And that is rated back in this fight. Resurrection value. And I have to say, for how good imported support was, that was an incredibly close team fight. I am not overly familiar with the roster of Flexen News, but they are looking really solid here tonight. Their individual positioning in that fight was super solid. The Greymane play as well. And of course, the Abba, you cannot deny that. Yeah, he burned the clone a little early, but he called out a lot of cooldowns. But that being said, it looks like they're like, you know what? FC Ignition's internet might go out again, so we should probably just win the video game while we can here. So I like this call from them. They know that they can go for the throat, all pun intended, and they're trying to make this happen here.
Yeah, I mean, this is the mark of a team that knows how to play Heroes of the Storm. Every time you win a team fight, every time you get a condition, is this the instance where we can just go ahead and end the game? Another team would be like, well, I'm just going to go over and get the boss. We should back away. Or actually, maybe I'm giving a little too much credit too soon here. The core is down at 13. Okay. It's going to be...
James Carroll has not arrived on the scene. This is not a Kalaris core. But
it could have been.
It could have been.
But yeah, some teams, you win a team fight like that late in the game, 17 minutes, you're like, all right, we won a team fight, guys. Let's back away. We can go do bosses. And all you're effectively doing is giving your opponent a chance to get back into the game. But Imported Support, they're like, hey, we won that team fight out as close as it was. Because like you said, that could have easily gone a different way. But Imported Support were able to come away with that. But, I really wish I could have heard the comms for Imported Support, because I know FC Ignition comes back and he's just like, Resurrect? Wait, you guys didn't pause the game? I got Resurrect, guys. Resurrect.
I'm gonna guess that he told them not to pause. I have a funny feeling that they wouldn't. That it was gonna be one of those situations. It was like, guys, my internet might go out here. Just don't pause it. Just is fine. We'll be fine. This is fine.
Just do it. Just do it.
Just do it. Just keep it out. Play it out. But in the end, that was a much closer game than I think they expected it to be. Obviously, Ariel Bot was a factor, but overall, Flex and Squad, nothing to be ashamed of in that one. They looked really solid. A lot of little individual play. They looked a little bit flustered on their macro aside from the Abathur, especially in the early game. But once they got that together, and I like the fact that they got an advantage and were actually able to do something with it.
Right.
They took a boss. They took an objective. They managed to sneak some tributes. They look good. And that's something that up-and-coming teams often struggle with, is finding those advantages when they can't, being able to capitalize on mistakes and those unforced errors. So really appreciate that from them. I just time the macro play a little, and we could be looking at a dark horse here in these tournaments.
I think there's going to be a lot of those. I mean, big props to Flexing Noobs for showing up big the first game of the night. I think that makes the argument. Imported Support, it could have been a very different game with a few different tweaks. I again think it comes down to the draft in a lot of ways. Conceptually, if you have Diablo, you want to be aggressive early game, but if you have Abathur, you want to wait until level 10 before you can actually start to make any plays. So there's, a difference of where you get value conceptually there. We also talked about the squishiness of Tracer being a potential liability. Rhaegar's got one Q button on his keyboard. You only patch up so many people so often. We saw a few instances there where it's like, hey, I got this ancestral healing for one person. Who's going to be the lucky winner? So just, I don't know if they had more AoE
Ancestrals
healing.
were nice.
They were nice.
The Ancestrals were nice.
Absolutely. They were nice. It just seemed like their comp was too squishy. Like, if Abathur was Tassadar, that would be a very different game. You put a Tassadar shield and 90% lifesteal on Trace, you don't have to worry about her so much.
Yeah. Definitely a reason why she was first banned in that last one, or Tassadar was first banned there. Because that pairing would have been dirty.
Pretty decent.
I think there were two ways that Flex and Noobs could have kind of gone with that draft. I think conceptually, I feel like the one route would have been leaving the Tracer. That's A-OK, and then replacing the Diablo with like a Johanna or something, or a Muradin. I think the Johanna, particularly the blind, I think would have gotten a ton of value. The disruption of the Blessed Shield, and then the Iron Skin, obviously, to try and bait out some of those hooks, and then go for more wave clear, fight the macro, sustainability sort of engage. Or the other route could have been ditch the Tracer and go for like a Tyrande or something and do like a Diablo Tyrande, hyper early rotational pick comps, just try and capitalize on the swishiness. Obviously, she struggles a little bit against that amount of dive, but if you can actually just man up and just stand your ground, Hunter's Mark that Illidan and commit on that with the Diablo, not too bad. I think, to your point, I agree. The Diablo and the Abathur felt a little bit counterintuitive, but overall they played the draft super well. The Abathur play was super solid, and they obviously Imported Support's one of the best damn teams in North America, so no slouch there by any means.
Yeah, it was definitely impressive to see. I just feel like they kind of went too many different directions with their composition. If they just kind of buckled down on one, it would have fared much better. But we've heard from our good old-fashioned argument. So, 7th Empire is 14 minutes into their current game. So we're going to jump to a different place in the bracket. We're going to go over to the new guys who were finalists in Series 1 of Heroes Hype Tempo Storm. And they'll be taking on 2+2. And I'm going to go ahead and add on Electric Boogaloo on the internet for reasons. But,
yes, indeed. I think we're both going to do the same thing. I think we're both going to hype a code. I think that's exactly what's about to happen there.
But while we're getting that set up, all you guys got to do to add to the prize pool is go over to the Match Reno page, put in HH Tempo 2 to add $1 to the prize pool. These guys show up and put on such incredible games for us week in and week out. What better way to say thanks than to take a few moments of your evening, put in that code, adds $1 to the prize pool. We want to try to say thanks to these players. They show up every Wednesday for 5 weeks, and then they have this huge finals at the end. Take time. Go ahead and do it.
Absolutely. I mean, the Heroes Hype Amateur Series has been on since the inception of Heroes of the Storm. I remember, I think one of the first tournaments, one of the first iterations of it I ever played in was, I want to say, like Heroes Hype 25. It was pretty early on. I think the first one I ever casted was like Heroes Hype 45.
Wow.
And that was a long time ago. I can still remember. No, it was actually a while back. And if you know what song that was, you get extra points because you're awesome. But it's now been around for a very long time. The team working behind the scenes is the hardest working crew in Heroes that's not Blizzard. And they do all this work for free, out of their pockets, out, their own time, putting into this. A great crew of people. So give a big shout out to our admins and everyone working behind the scenes as well to make this happen. They've done a lot of additional stuff recently with all that community work, doing the streamer schedule, all that kind of stuff. So if you're not following Heroes Hype here on Twitch and of course on Twitter as well, be sure to go do so. Keep up to date with all of the awesome stuff that they're doing.
Absolutely. Actually, I'm in the process of subbing to the Heroes Hype channel right now. Because I resisted temptation of subscribing and post that in a lol emote in the chat during HGC, but I can stand it no longer. Because all the subscription proceeds go over to a pool that will be used for a party at BlizzCon this year, which I will be going. Hope to see you there as well, my friend.
Oh, you will? You will be seeing me there? You'll absolutely be seeing me there. So I'm excited. I'm booking my plane tickets like tomorrow. Got to get there for BrewCon, easy peasy as well. All the good stuff going on. So we hope to see you guys out at BlizzCon as well at the Heroes Hype after party. Because, oh man, Heroes Hype parties. I mean, I was not in great shape at the last one, but not for the reason you're thinking. But I was.
Dude. Last year's Heroes Hype party at BlizzCon, I had one bourbon and 8 bourbon and Sprites too many, man. I was in there.
Yeah, I'm talking about dorms as well.
Ooh.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
I was there.
Yeah, we
But it happened in Vegas, environment. What happens in Vegas stays on Twitter.
Yes, indeed. Stays on Twitter. Absolutely. I'm pretty sure in one of the TGS, one of the squadron videos, I was it wrong squadron. In one of the squadron videos, like with like I think Pally and Trick playing, or Trick casting, Pally and Mune, I want to say, playing Jenga. You can see me like passed out on a table in the background. For those who don't know, I was operating on like 3 hours of sleep in Vegas, and I literally ordered a cappuccino at the bar because I was that tired, and it was really funny, and everyone laughed at me. It was good times. Okay, they're ready. Ready.
We're ready.
Ready.
Warhead Junction, Braxis Holdout were the bands. We've heard from our good old-fashioned Argy. Map of choice is going to be Battlefield of Eternity. The new guys will be on the left. 2+2 Electric Boogaloo's on the right. I do believe we're all ready. Here we go.
Oh, yeah.
And without any further ado, welcome to Battlefield of Eternity.
Yes, indeed. BOE, a map I didn't adore when it first came out, and then a map that I learned to love simply because I think it creates some of the most on-the-fly, spontaneous, just gut knowledge shot calls in the game. Knowing exactly how much damage you have with the draft. Can we win this race? Can we do this burn? When do we attack? When do we defend? When do we send someone to lane to soak? How do we position? How do we rotate? So many on-the-fly calls that need to be made in fractions of seconds. And I think to me, this is probably probably a shot caller's most important map and the one that pushes them the most.
You know, I would agree with that. I definitely have come to respect Battlefield of Eternity as a battleground more and more, especially during HGC. The objective of the map sounds very simple. It's like, hey, every now and again, there's these 2 immortal guys. They show up. There's 2 lanes. LOL. There's a core. GG. There is a lot of nuance into what
Yes.
resources you send to attack the enemy immortal and what resources you spend defending your own. You have to consider your composition in a unique way compared to other battlegrounds. Heroes like Tyrande show up more. There's a lot more prioritization on heroes like Greymane. Auto attack damage dealers, being able to burn those immortals down. Li Ming sees a lot of play on this map these days as well. And it's just a very different beast. And in that, I've come to really appreciate it. Genji, you wouldn't think has a whole lot of play and value on this map, but he can just show up over the wall and snatch your life away and leave. It's not a good time.
Yeah, he is the hey guys emote in this one. He just shows up and's like, "Hi, how you doing? How are you doing?" And he comes and just puts you down. And he does surprising damage, especially short range. The shuriken spam can actually add up pressure wise, but really he just adds so much harass. But of course, the myth, the man, the legend on this one is Malthael. His ability to just dominate mortals is I'm not gonna say it's OP. It's OP. It's real OP. It's dumb. It's real good. He's first ban worthy 100% on this map, and I think he's ban worthy regardless.
Right.
But I mean, rightfully so. He's a scary guy.
Malthael is pretty scary as well because his trait actually will do percentage-based damage to the immortal. Did you know? But
Did you know?
Don't have to
Wait,
worry
what's
about
that
him
mean?
this game. He actually got
Wait,
a little
what's
bit
that?
of a.
Did they nerf him?
He did. They knocked
Okay,
it
I missed
down to 2.25 or something like that instead of
Oh, okay.
2.5%. Not the hugest nerf, but
Yeah.
I definitely think it'll take some of the starch out of him.
Yeah, okay.
He
I'm
kinda
gonna be
needed
honest.
it.
He did, and I was at a cottage this weekend. Haven't got a chance to read a ton of patch notes, so I'm kind of behind on things, guys. I apologize if I get some stuff wrong tonight. It's been a very busy week, but we're gonna hit. My app today is gonna hit 250,000 registered users, so it's been
Wow.
kind of busy in the office. Yeah, it's happening. So I apologize on that one, but yeah, this is a good draft come together so far for both squads. Stitches, Uther, hello, goodbye, and of course the Gray Man himself coming in there as well.
Yeah, Stitches Uther, that's the kind of synergy I like to see when you pick up Stitches this early in the draft. Because you already know, somebody gets hooked, that stun's going to be there from Uther afterwards. And if they're feeling amphibious enough, they will leap for that Divine Storm and really lock you down for a little bit. They could look to have that long conversation. Curious to see how that plays out. Greymane is a strong first pick, however, though. And Cursed Bullet's definitely going to raise the brow of Stitches come level 10. He's not going to deal with all that, but I don't think he's going to have anything to the contrary to say.
Yes. And this is a very strong 1-3 right now coming in for the side of the TNG. The new guys, not the next generation, but maybe both.
Could be.
And maybe both. Greymane, Ariel. Greymane's a decent hope generator for Ariel. Arthas is not actually a bad one, but he's so good in this battleground. He gets so much value here, and he's just able to slow down so many people as they're forced into chokes. And the decent engage and the follow-up that Greymane will offer to him, really great synergy there as well. I like the fact that they grabbed an assassin, their support, their main warrior, right in the 1-2-3. That means their last picks are very flexible. They have some options here as well, and also makes this ban a lot tougher. Potentially, I would still like to get rid of another hope generator. If you're not going to grab Vala or Lunara here, I think probably get rid of that.
I would actually lean towards Lunara. You make a really good point. I think that Uther struggles against Lunara, especially if they go Splintered Spear at 7. Given this battle,
Oh,
they're going to
that
go
works
a
too.
different. Now, you know in Verum, I've seen and played in some Cho'Gall games, and Mr. Slack and Salt's still here. I played some Team League with him and some folks, the Ebros. Dude, Cho'Gall in the right situation, I understand this ban. And if you can take Lunar in your 3-4, you take away one of those, what I would consider to be a counter to Uther and really serve yourself well.
Mhm.
But you're exactly right. When you see Ariel and you got Greymane, it's like, yeah, he does all right as far as Hope Generation goes, but it's not exactly ideal. I think we're going to see another prioritization there.
Yeah, I agree, and I like this Tassadar ban as well. This really shuts down their ability to sort of go into one of those mainline auto attackers. Yeah, so I like that as well. I'm just thinking there's still a lot of really good options here, though. I mean, obviously Vala, Li Ming are still on the table, and I think with what they've got lined up, you could probably just go both of them if you felt so inclined.
Why not both?
Why not both?
You can definitely go down that road if you so chose, for sure. We actually saw some Uther Malfurion play last night in the open division. That was a little spicy. That's not entirely out of the question with Stitches. You were going to be rooted in there forever, and Aro doesn't have cleanse. So if we see further lockdown on that front, Thrall got a good amount of value as well. We saw last game for imported support. There's definitely a lot of options still available, but we're going to see Varian and Li Ming as the 3-4 selections.
Yeah,
Li Ming for that poke. Anytime it becomes a stalled tactic style of game for the Immortals, Li Ming can safely throw those magic missiles and orbs to burn down the enemy Immortal. And Varian definitely would add to the lockdown front. But I'm a little concerned about that pick, actually, to be honest, Admiral.
Yeah, I mean, so this is reminding me a lot of MSB Red Canids, and I've said this before, how much I adore this combination. Varian taunt into Li Ming, blow them the hell up. They had Greymane in that combo originally, but there's so much burst, so much lockdown, so much CC coming in with this ramp. They need any ranged assassin on top of this, and they are in for a great time. They've got a lot of options still on the board to fill that role. This is a lot of blow up, and Ariel's going to have to struggle with this. No cleanse. She will have that Crystal Aegis, but Taunt's got a way shorter cooldown, so this is going to be interesting to deal with. Overall, Ariel's going to be on point.
We're going to go a different way.
I like the Medivh pick to counter exactly what I'm describing. Yeah, Force of Will is going to just say no to a lot of what's coming out right now from 2+2.
I'm a little surprised at the Medivh pick. I mean, there's definitely some value to be had if a team can play with and around Medivh to great effect. You negate some of the drawbacks to a hero like Arthas, and you enable his ability to counter heroes like Stitches, Uther, and Varian. The reason why I'm concerned about the Varian pick is because you now have a front line that once they touch Arthas, they're fully committed to that team fight. So if you don't get the team fight that you want by way of a hook that's going to isolate and really set things up and get a kill early on, or at least force out the Aegis, you're effectively playing the opponent's game. It's a pretty high stakes gamble in my opinion.
Yeah, I almost wonder if we're going to see more of like a bait and switch type thing going on, where Stitches hooks in, there's the fall from the Uther, the Leeming blow up, and then Varian goes in and like taunts the Medivh, taunts the healers, goes in and tries to make that happen in the back line. And tries to sort of deny that there. The Brightwing secondary support here, additional polymorph global presence, not the pickup I thought I expected there. I think that's actually a little bit damage light, and I feel like 2+2 is now going to experience a little bit of a lack of damage, but to your credit, it will absolutely make up for Uther's lack of diverse healing against the Lunara. That will definitely help here, and we could definitely see a big old split there with that Emerald Wind, which is what I expect to see here, though portals can help to circumnavigate that should the need arise.
You're putting a lot on Li Ming's shoulders to get those takedowns when you round out your composition with Brightwing. I mean, the Q build isn't, you know, it does damage, but I don't know if it's gonna necessarily be enough. And you got to deal with Force of Will, which will handle the burst from Li Ming if timed properly pretty well, all considered. They're taking that whole 2+2 thing a little too literally, though, my friend. They went 2 warriors, 2 supports.
Yep. And I mean, in this case, there's definitely an argument to be made for it. I feel like they should have just committed fully to the burst. Take out that Brightwing, replace them with someone a little bit more impactful. Even someone, I'm trying to think. I mean, Vala's still on the table. Decent amount of burst there. Also, the Q build would work quite well in this map and with that composition. There's a lot of options, but either way, we'll see how it goes here as we get into this. Do you want to start us off, man, introducing these teams?
Sure. On the left side, we have the new guys. Stu Manchu is on Arthas, Ataru is on Lunar, Phoenix is playing Ariel, Olek B, I guess, is on Medivh, and Grim will round it out on Greymane.
Yes, see, on the other side of the red, we have 2+2. We've got Curbinator playing that Varian, Hollis on the Stitches, McNulty playing Uther, Axon on that Li Ming, and rounding it out, we got Raytor on this baby Brightwing.
Now, I mean, one thing to consider as far as value for Brightwing goes is she can soak, get a tier advantage, potentially get some kind of stat advantage, get some pressure on the map and teleport it. That's not something that the members of the new guys have available to them, and that's kind of why I theorized Vala Dahaka to round their composition out. Doc is a hero we've seen get actually a lot of value on this map. You don't normally think of him here, but it could work out. We see the hook, we see the Tamer Strike as a potential disengage. Phoenix gets knocked down to half health. Kerbinator finds himself in the receiving end of a good amount of damage themselves. Both of these teams trading barbs. No takedowns.
Yes, indeed. And, you know, we saw the holding off of the stun from McNulty there, knowing that Forcible was going to come in, but that was exactly it. That Forcible accomplished exactly what I expected it there. It's to take the edge off that initial round of burst. In post 16, you're actually going to be hurting more than you're helping. Nice little lineup there for the squad of 2+2 to get the most out of that wave of light. In the top lane as well, it's going to be an interesting matchup, though. That being said, in the bot, Kerbinator's taking a lot of damage, but that Li Ming Orb is getting value. As Stu-Man Chu and friends are there. Hollis is the one, though, taking the brunt of the damage here. The heals are not quite going to be enough. I don't think the Q's going to be there in time, even with that. And with that additional Searing Light, we're going to secure that takedown. Nicely done. The heals from Phoenix, absolutely on point.
And Verum, if I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. Never trust Big Button to smile, because the girl's poison. It feels bad when you just walk back behind your fort. You think it's over, and you're like, guys, my health bar is getting pretty low. And you got Uther on your side, and he's like, dude, I don't have another cooldown for like 4 seconds. And you're like, oh, so I'm just dead then, huh? Yeah, I think so.
The light abandons no man, except right now. Sorry, buddy, I pressed all my buttons.
Ooh, the stun on Ataru almost landed into the combination from the Immortal. Lunara was able to step around that. McNulty on the receiving end of a good amount of damage turns into a ghost. Will be able to sustain their teammates for the moment. But Lunara, Ataru getting value 2 minutes into the game.
Yeah, nicely done there so far. Kerbinator's now the one shipping up, trying to do as much as he can here, but the damage a lot coming there as well. Hollis is getting chunked to the back line. Stu-Man Chu trying to make it happen. The portals are going as well. Nice route taking down the Bright Wing. Hollis as well is getting chunked down. The rest of the team is running. Varian falls, and that is going to be 3-0. Solid play coming out from the new guys as they clean up this first round. There's the halftime, and they are in a dominant position.
I can already tell you what the voice comms are like right now for 2+2 guys. We got to kill Lunara. Like, we just have to do it. Every second they leave Ataru to their own devices, someone's health bar is getting melted down. McNulty got vanished off the map, and then Lunara just turned their attention elsewhere. And without much impunity whatsoever, just pretty much set all that up. I mean, Greymane, Medivh definitely had a part to play as well, don't get me wrong. But watch Ataru in these team plays. So long as they get to hang out in the perimeter and just play their game, we're going to see a lot of what we just saw.
Yeah, absolutely. That was just really solid play across the board. The splitting of the damage there, the ability to isolate multiple targets at once. The portals just causing enough distraction on the map there. Oh, the hook from Hollis. That was a micrometer from connecting, and I like this additional vision coming out here from that Medivh and Alec. Just getting that a little bit more info there. Down in the bot lane, a Varian Greymane. That is a matchup that Greymane should win in the long run. But I also love this from Stu-Man Chu, and we see this a lot. It's just taking down that small wall just off the bat, giving them options. Nice Tamer Strikes all coming in, but 6-4. This is a good position for TNG.
To say the very least, I mean, there's still a little bit of health on this Immortal. If they try to kick their feet up on the couch, they might be able to make a little bit happen off of here. The Tamer Strike for the disengage leaves McNulty on Uther, actually, could have potentially turned on him. Stu-Man Chu and the crew are going to be able to back away, though. McNulty acts and rotate up. Do they decide to go for this camp? Not yet, but level 7's right around the corner for the new guys. I'm not sure how frisky 2+2 will be.
Yeah, well, they're actually getting a little bit frisked upon here as the opponents are moving in. Nice Howling Blast connecting to 2. Raider taking a lot of damage. The Polymorph not going to be enough here as the Bright Wing's about to go down potentially. The heals are not going to be enough. Phoenix with that Searing Light securing the takedown. McNulty's in a rough spot. And with that additional route, another 3-0, 7-6, a whole level lead here. As, man, TNG are looking like they just don't want to give them an inch to breathe.
And you know what? They really shouldn't. I want to see this kind of lights out play from a team. I don't want teams to slack in heroes hype at all. I think you should just give your opponents enough respect. Like, look, we're just going to play this straight up. Every advantage we're given, we're going to take. If this turns into a 7-minute game for it, hey, I mean, GG's. Not this. I think it's almost more disrespectful to slack off and then just kind of yuck it up. But Grims is actually on the ropes here from Kerbinator. And Kerbinator just sticks his face like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do, Really? This is my camp, buddy.
Thanks, buddy. Oh, you're welcome there, friend. Take it easy. That was basically the exchange right there. Oh, hey, neighbor. How's it going? Oh, good. Just going to come and take this camp. Yeah, sounds good. Can't do anything about that. All right, yeah, how about going there, bud? Yeah, see you later. I'm basically imagining Tim Allen in Home Improvement, that situation. Just sticking the head over the fence, gotta say.
It works. It works.
That works.
Looking at the build for RL, Searing Light with the repeated offense talent at 4, along with Bursting Light. Q build set up for Arthas after taking the Frost Presence talent, which they've been getting a good amount of value out of that. They will almost have that complete. Calamity, Dominance, and Power Hungry. Dominance is definitely a response to the amount of damage the Taro's been raining down, but you gotta get takedowns if you want value out of that talent. And so far, 2+2 have 0.
Yeah, and I'm really liking this build coming out here from Phoenix against the triple melee. This is a very, and even the Brightwing is going to be often in that melee range. This is a very strong talent because as you're healing your allies, you're damaging your opponents, and that can really add up here. I like taking this against melee-centric comps, but you're absolutely right. The Dominance is not going to get that value if you don't get them resets, rocking up that critical mass. So let's see if they can make that happen right now. Ataro's trying to dish this damage, but McNulty is actually doing a pretty good job here as the rest of the teams are baiting the stat. However, this is not an advantage 2+2. The longer this goes on, we're going to see level 10 be achieved here. And at that point, they just need to give this up. They need to try and soak 10 themselves and take as much, or I should say as little damage as possible here.
Absolutely. I feel like teams need to better understand what the situation is for them. I feel like 2+2 needed to be super aggressive there before level 10 came around the corner. They decided, they kind of danced around a little bit, got some damage on the Immortal and casually just watched things in the mid lane. And now they've decided to go push bottom, but they put themselves a long way from home. There's going to be the ley line seal, the leaping strike on the McNulty. Uther could be very well the first to fall. Axton's not going to be able to teleport far enough. Li Ming gets rocked. A nice double root curse bullet goes out. Hollis just wants it to stop. Uther's doing everything they can, but Lunara's going to giggle and net the 11th takedown. Ouch.
Bitches just want this to stop. Oh man, that's the moment of the night right there. With level 11 to level 9 and this Immortal at halftime, it is looking like a solid position for the new guys as they are pushing it across the battleground right now. As Olek is having some fun with that little baby Brightwing, making him regret being a Brightwing.
Well, we talked about it in draft. The Brightwing came out and we were like, they might not have a whole lot of damage. And they are kind of up against Lunara and Greymane. And Force of Will.
Yeah. That midi pick really just was everything for this draft, I think. The ability to just reduce or completely eliminate that initial burst. It's like, well, we've used our cooldowns. Now what? Stand here and look pretty? Excellent.
Yeah, I mean, it's been that, and it's... Ooh, nice force burst and root from Stu and Shu.
Oh my god.
I think that root, even without the follow-up damage, was the members of 2+2 were like, well, that's gonna be bot for it. We should probably just back away right now. But again, this is one of those moments where they're on even talent tiers. As crazy as the idea might be, if they're gonna make something happen, it kind of has to be now when they're trying to deal with a shielded Immortal as well. Brightwing soaking top, doing what they can, but they might find themselves trying to protect their keep sooner rather than later.
Yeah, the Tainment Strike not quite latching there, pushing McNulty back through the gate. Level 13 is just around the corner. Brightwing has decided it is time to commit. It is, of course, that Emerald Wind, so watches to try to split the stuns going in there. Nicely done. Oh, we do see the follow-up. And here comes the split with the Emerald Wind. Nicely done. The Arthas falls. That is first set into critical mass. Hollis is going in. Nice cleanse as well. Get in this position. They disintegrate as well as Grim taking a lot of damage. Good force as well, though, trying himself out of there. Stitches is running hooks, not going to get. Kirby's in deep. Kaloran, he wants some more, but there's the ley line.
They're doing everything they can. They got the takedown on Arthas, and Arthas in slow motion was like, no, as this got pushed back by the Emerald Wind. Feels a little bad, but as far as things go, it could be a lot worse for 2+2. They hang on to their bottom keep. They got that takedown on even talent tiers. You know they wanted more. The right hook landed. If Uther was able to step forward and get another stun after that, it could have led to a lot more and a real resurgence back towards this mid game. But it's nice to, at the very least, see signs of life out of 2+2.
Yeah, and I commented the second that Brightwing came down, watch for that Emerald Wind. They got the hook, split the team. That's exactly what they needed to do. Arthas was that, the front line taking the brunt of that Li Ming damage, and it paid off for them in spades. They were able to execute there. They've come back a level, didn't lose a keep. You know, that is about as much as they could hope for. They have lost 2 camps off the back of this, and now the fight comes in. Without level 13, this is not one they want to take. The root is going on to Hollis, but here comes the right wing teleport. Nicely done there. They do not want to take this down the talent here.
Absolutely. I mean, level 13 is actually a considerable power spike for the members of the new guys. Cursed Bullet paired with the armor reduction from Arthas is gonna hurt. Even Hollis on Stitches has to be a little bit concerned. Saw his health bar vanish before his very eyes. He was able to get out of there though. Level 13 should be had by the members of 2+2 Electric Boogaloo before this next Immortal phase shows up, so they definitely have another decent shot at this.
Yeah, they really do. They're gonna have that talent as the next Immortal spawns. They have yet to lose a keep, so they're still fully in this lineup. Oh, they need to be soaking both lanes here. They might actually not have 13 as the starts. This could potentially be a big deal. It's going to be close, and I think if I'm the side of the new guys, I just force this. I don't let them get a moment of rest. I just go and say, we need to make this happen now. Let's get this advantage while we can. And I think this is exactly the right call. They're looking for the pick. Stu Manchu's trying to find it. The root does not connect, though. Nice dodge coming out for the side. 2+2. They're doing the math right now, Halorn. They're making it work.
Basic arithmetic is a skill they have. They definitely should be able to get 13 by the halftime show, but don't tell them that, because they're just going to go in one way or the other. There's Cursed Bullet on Hollis' face. Emerald Wind will isolate Stu Manchu. Arthas a long way from home for the moment. There goes the cleans on the Hollis. Right wing does get taken down. Stitch is going to be next. The Protected going to shield Varian for the moment. Leyline Seal. Zach Morris times him out for the moment. Curbinator trying to do everything he can. He should go down, but oh no! Medivh does fall before Varian goes, leaving Li Ming, the last member of 2+2, alive.
Yeah, the big issue with that one was, we saw Arthas get split. They tried to pick him out, but Stitch is just really committed, saying, I need to go into the backline, try to make some space. But Brightwing had already separated the team, and then Stitches was just alone in no man's land. The whole team was like, all right, we'll just attack you then, if that's okay. And Stitch was like, I guess. I mean, I'm here now. And then he just ended up getting picked off. And then, what little advantage they had in that fight. And the big thing, though, the Force of Wills denied everything. Arthas came out of that fight smelling like roses, and it wasn't even a challenge. And looking at this damage coming in right now, they're trying their best. The whole team is here, but actually they're able to mount the defense. Halorn, somehow, they've been able to hold on here. Really nice rotation from the side of 2+2.
Yeah, they did everything they could to get here in time, and it just so pays off. There's the hook. There's a stun from McNulty afterwards. They're applying pressure. Don't have Army to Dead, do you? But hey, I got a portal. Stu Manchu's going to be out of there thanks to some crafty play from Medivh. But for the moment, like you said, man, nice rotation on their part. The Immortal stands.
It stands, and so does their keep in the bot lane, though, by a scrap of life. Ooh. It is a strong breeze from falling down, but that is okay, as it is just keeping the pressure off just for now in terms of those caddies. The team is rotating in once again. Taro and friends want to lock this down. There's the hook, though, onto the Prime Tarbic. Oh, beautifully done, though. The Aegis actually overlapping a bit, though, a little bit too much. And then actually, Lunara falls. The Leyline as well is still running the team. Criminator taking a lot of damage. He's going to go down here. No, the taunt is enough. The Emerald would split in the team. McNulty Fred to somehow survive through this, but the Uther cannot heal enough through this. And that is the takedown there. Halorn, they're chasing this. They want more. Oh, Brightwing, no.
2+2 are scrappy indeed to be able to survive as long as they did. I thought that was going to be a calamitous situation, and to only lose Varian out of all that, and it is also to get Lunara, not too bad. But at the end of the day, the macro, the map consideration is still stacking the odds heavily against 2+2. The bottom keep, there's that stern breeze you were talking about, and there's a near full shield Immortal rocking and rolling in the top lane. They are by no means out of the woods.
Absolutely, this is a very healthy Immortal charging down the ropes, and there comes all the CC doing a lot of damage. McNulty is standing strong, but he's, oh man, Hollis is the one barely escaping with his life. 16 to 14, the Talontier is here. We have reabsorption. We got that big money ability coming in, denying a lot of this burst even further. This keeps taking a lot of damage, and this is going to be the defense of their life from 2+2 to stand through this.
Well, they don't have to worry about Cursed Bullet for 5 seconds. Hollis is going to come back and cast that Cursed Bullet again and be like, guys, really? Tired of seeing all that. McNulty gets snapped back.
Oh, no.
And the Divine Storm completely whiffs. Nicely done by Phoenix there. Emerald Wind will isolate Greymane, but there's the shield. There's the Crystal Aegis as well. Lowered armor all on the side. Oprah Winfrey shows up and gives everybody lowered armor at no charge. The 2+2, and that could be the beginning of the end.
Yeah, this could very well be that indeed. Curbinator and friends are running for dear life. The Immortal does fall on the core, though, and I think with that, they're saying, you know what? We're not going to push our luck. We have a nice, juicy lead here. Let's not throw it away.
Juicy.
And the timing of timing up that Crystal Aegis plus that Force of Will, you're actually helping rather than hindering. You're actually healing your opponents there, and that is not an ideal situation to be in if you are 4 or against 2+2 being back into this game. I mean, either way. But level 16 is just around the corner for them. They have an opportunity to get back into this. That being said, they are down 2 keeps, and that is a deficit that is very hard to overcome.
You speak the truth, my friend. We are about to learn a lot about how 2+2 approaches macro play and decision making, because it feels bad when you're on Battlefield of Eternity. You have 0 structures and you have yet to scratch a fort. On the opposite side of the map, you're about to be level 16. What do you do next? We're about to see how 2+2 tries to answer that question. They have Brightwing soaking top, trying to get some pressure taken away there, while 4 members are in the bot lane. Bottom camp was snapped up though by the new guys. There's the stun. They're looking to go in on Stu Manchu. Does it pay off?
Yeah, the lane line will isolate 3 as Curbinator's getting chunked, and that Emerald Wind getting quite a bit of value, but man, the health bars are going down. The Cleanse and McNulty trying to get him in the situation. There's the Vine Storm, nicely done though, but a lot of damage being already taken away by that Force of Will. Here comes a Taro on the back line, split up that damage, and boom, that is 2 members dead.
Ooh.
However, Axon did get the first reset. He's not out of this yet. Oh, and beautiful dodge as well, denying that. Uther is going to keep them nice and healthy, but it's still 3 members dead as these Immortals spawn. This is not a good position to be in with both keeps down. This is not where you want to be. That Force means nothing, and they might actually look to end if they get these takedowns, Lauren.
Yeah, it's a 1 for 3. Right now, it's just Brightwing and Li Ming alive. If you want anyone alive on the side of 2+2 and you hope to prolong this game, it's got to be Li Ming. So all eyes will be on Axon. If we do see the new guys press this issue and it looks like they decide not to, he would have had to play the game of their very lives to turn that one around. But cooler heads do prevail for the new guys. They rotate back and start to apply pressure to this Immortal. And they're like, guys, we got 2 options. We can go in here and potentially get blown up by Li Ming. Or we can just get way ahead in this Immortal race and have a probably at least 60% shield Immortal walk directly to their core. Solve for X.
Solve for X indeed. No quadratic equations required here. Pythagoras is all happy. It's all good as McNulty is leading the charge. The hook does not quite connect from Hollis. He does not have that fishing hook. At level 16, he's gone pulverizing his foes full into that slam build. But there's the Detainment Strike on the Variant. A lot of damage coming through, though. And wow, look at the Divine Storm. The Crystal Aegis and the Shield overlapping, though. A lot of damage going in as well. Nicely done, though, as that Emerald Wind is put in the team. But that is a lot of damage for the Brightwing. Red Her is now caught really deep in. He's going to fall nicely down there as well. Griffin French taking a lot of damage to the back line. They are trying to survive through this McNulty, doing a lot of damage. But oh, man, that Detainment Strike's all in the back lines. Will the Force will surviving? Can they make this through? Holoran, and this is an absolute bloodbath.
This is actually insane that it's less of a bloodbath. Hollis is actually going to go down. McNulty could potentially be the next target. Axon was not able to bring it home for their team. Was not able to get those cooldown resets in large part thanks to the Crystal Aegis and a near perfectly timed Force of Wills from Medivh. Wins the team fight and could very well win the game. This is that full shield we were talking about, and I'm not sure what they do to stop this one.
They need a full wipe right here. The portals are going to have to get Medivh out of this spot right now. They needed a 4-man wipe and reset, take down that top fort and try and end the video game, but there is absolutely no chance. I think this is very likely all over but the crying, as this Immortal is going to push in onto the core with a fatty set of shields. This is going to be very tough to deal with, and I think that's probably going to be it. The rest of the team's rotating in, but if Uther falls here, that is absolutely the end. You know what? The Immortal can solo the core at this point. It really doesn't matter.
Yeah, this is all just padding stats at this point. They needed to be able to wipe all of the new guys pretty much immediately to be able to get back. And then even, I'm not even sure if then that would have been enough. Li Ming goes down, Uther does drop. Curbinator could be the next target. Force of Will is going to keep Medivh alive for the moment. Greymane is going to take down Brightwing. But one way or the other, my friend, that is going to be 1 G followed by another G.
That is going to be the good game indeed. Level 20 is here, but it doesn't even matter, as that is going to be the core falling. And nicely done here from the new guys as they secure themselves the win as Lunara dances midair over the core. Actually, do video game here. So just a really nice set of plays from them. I think that ending of the draft was just about perfect. Responding to the burst coming out, because I think without the Medivh, I'm not sure you win that.
You know, I was actually really impressed with 2+2's ability to do damage. With their composition, I was really concerned, Axon was going to have to go off, and they had the most damage on their team. But even then, they were still 20,000 damage below Ataro's Lunara, who just had a field day. But I think what we saw there was the value of Force of Will and Crystal Aegis. It seemed like anytime 2+2 were like, hey, we're looking to get this party started. Here's a hook. Here's a stun from Uther. Here's Divine Storm. Let's go. Crystal Aegis, Force of Will, that target survives. Arthas wades in, slows everybody down. Ataro melts him like butter.
Yeah, and I think the big thing was every single time. Obviously, we saw one with Divine Shield off the Detainment Strike, and that feels real bad as new threat. I think the big thing, though, hell yeah, it's real bad, man. I think the big thing as well is the fact that every time Uther went in and tried to get that big follow-up Divine Shield on their primary target, is Force of Will. Force of Will, when he's like, I'm a wizard, I'm a bird, and he's just having so much fun. And really, those Force of Wills, I think, were probably the biggest deciding factor of that game. It just denied that initial critical mass. And once Li Ming starts to just roll those, it's really tough to deal with. So that is going to be it. But you know what? I think we're going to take a short break here.
Yep.
And then we're going to hop back into it.
Looks like Flame is Lame is 17 minutes into their current match. Imported Support still waiting for the winner. Whoever wins that game, good luck. Because Imported Support are no slouches. But we're going to take a short break. Don't you go anywhere. This gives you guys time to put in $1 in the prize pool by putting in HH Tempo 2. Head over to the Matcherino site and do that. Our lovely admins will be able to provide you the link for that. But for now, don't go anywhere. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back before you know. Hey, welcome back, everyone. Sorry for the delay, but we are right back at it. This is the Heroes Hype Tempo Storm Series 2, Week 4. My name is Lauren. I'm joined by The Truth in Verum. And man, we've had some crazy games so far. We are looking to get into some more, though.
I think we're likely getting into the craziest game we've had so far tonight. And I say crazy in all the best ways. We have Flame is Lame up against Imported Support. The amount of raw veteran status in this lobby is so very real, and we get to see it all come out. Towers of Doom, a map that requires a heck of a lot of decision-making, macro play, strategic.
Now, guys, I cannot overstate this. Heroes Hype for so long has been the place where you learn about the upcoming rising stars in the North American amateur scene. You will not find two stronger examples than what we're about to look at right now. These are two teams that could very well find themselves in the Crucible and in the HGC next phase. So if you want to see the upcoming stars, if you want to see who's on the horizon, check this game out, because we are in for a treat.
Oh yeah, the rising star is definitely true. Both of these teams have the potential to go all the way. Flame is Lame is a roster that's been put together with love and care. A lot of seasoned vets, and of course Imported Support in some variation or other has been around for a very long time. You see yourself, they have LAN prowess. Their roster has got a lot going for them as well. Both these teams have a ton of individual talent. I think in both cases, it's really just getting this particular iteration, this particular incarnation of the roster down on just building that synergy, building that trust. Because once that's there, either of these teams can compete at the highest level.
Absolutely. I mean, both of these teams have the experience, the pedigree, and at this point, the lineage. I mean, Shot is a Heroes of the Dorm winner. Over on the side of Imported Support, this is a team that has LAN level experience themselves. They are no strangers. They've made it far, especially FC Ignition in Heroes of the Dorm this past year themselves. So there's definitely some high-powered level of play on both of these teams. See, Genji ban, Tassadar ban. We've seen that trend continue. Ariel will be the first pick. And you and I were talking about this a little bit earlier this week. When the first pick Ariel shows up, your thoughts are like, yeah, Ariel brings a lot of value to the team, obviously, but you're more worried about who are they going to look to synergize with that hero. We've seen Lunar get a ton of value all night. Val is a strong selection as well. Gul'dan, while they've fallen out of the meta, does have a place, giving Ariel hope. So I think there's a lot of options on the table.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Ariel is one of these heroes who I love and hate to play in Hero League because I'm darn good with her, but she's only as good as the assassin you pair her with, which means that you're reliant on the love of a stranger. in that case, not always an ideal situation, but in a setting like this where you have complete trust in your damage dealer to do that damage, in this case, they got Legend, an absolute monstrous DPS player. They often build their drafts around. I don't think they're going to have any shortage of high damage, high impact heroes going his way. That being said, across the board, Stitches Illidan, once again, that high prioritization and 1-2 of that Illidan for IS, pairing it with the Stitches. Once again, the control from IS. I feel like this is becoming their signature.
Yeah, I mean, JPL has to feel good. I mean, he single-handedly brought Stitches back into the Western meta. We've seen this hero go from nowhere near on prioritization to showing up in the 1-2. Abathur Zeratul is a spicy combination. You put the hat on a stealth hero that has a lot of high mobility and burst like Zeratul. You can shred the health bar of a hero like Illidan sooner rather than later. But as far as high impact, Stitches and Illidan, they're near the top of that list.
Absolutely. I mean, I gotta say, Abathur Zeratul is a terrifying combination. We're still looking for that primary hope generator. Arthas is being denied here as well, because I think that's smart. Take out the warrior, the solo warrior, Johanna, Murd, and Arthas being the big three in that category right now. Alongside, of course, Stitches. Diablo can fill that spot as well. At this point, you can't ban them out of a hope generator, so just ban them out of the warrior. I think this is absolutely the right call. The Uther as well, or Stuk. Yeah, don't ban him. You can't play him yet. Don't ban this. Do they know that?
I don't think. Well, they should.
They're just picking.
All right, okay, they're
official.
officially memeing now.
Yeah, they be memeing and dreaming right now.
We got the memes. Oh yeah, of course. Murky, a strong ban. You got to worry about Murky.
Strong choice.
Murgle. You don't want to deal with. High shot, because I'm pretty sure that was all him.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was Hi, buddy. We have a long history with Shot. We do love Shot, even though literally the first time I ever met him, he spilt water all over my keyboard. Good times.
That Shot in a nutshell right there. Love that guy.
Oh yeah.
I hope Mama Shot's watching too.
Oh, I hope so too. Absolutely, the whole Shot fam doing work right now. And of course the whole family behind Flame is Lame as well. They've got a lot of support over on that as well. And I'm looking at these next two picks. Obviously, support's got to come into play.
Yeah.
A ranged assassin, I would figure as well. Are we basically going to see a variant of the exact same draft they ran earlier? Of course, they don't have the Ariel in this instance. We're not going to have Ariel bot on their side. But I feel like, no, they're going to mix it up quite a bit here and go that burst route.
I actually like Li Ming a lot, especially on this map. I thought we would see Rhaegar over Malfurion. That is going to be the selection. That's how you allow Illidan to go out there and continue to be a superhero out in the front line, reset his health bar with the ancestral healing. But Li Ming brings a lot of value to this battleground. We were talking about her value on Battlefield of Eternity for her ability to poke at a safe distance. You can do exactly that here on Towers of Doom as well with this hero. So a long range setup can definitely get some work done, stall out proceedings, and really keep options open for your team. Buy time for Illidan to hunt in, buy time for Stitches Hook to come off cooldown again. There's a whole host of things on top of just blowing up somebody's face that Li Ming brings to the table.
Yeah, I think that's interesting here. I mean, Tastar is still on the table. Tast Illidan obviously is a tried and true retro combination, but only really having that one hero to synergize with him makes me think that's less likely as a last pick here. If that Li Ming had been someone like Umbala, I could definitely see that being an option. That being said, the main warrior and hope generator are still up for grabs here. I expect a ranged assassin and either Johanna or Murd in here. Probably leaning more towards Johanna. But instead, they're actually going to go very into that solo tank role. Interesting, and they are going to go with Lunara once again. I like this call. Lunara has done so well tonight.
I think it's going to be a rising and steady trend. Lunara, she fell out of the meta for a long time for no particular reason. It's not like there was a balance patch that came out and her damage on a particular aspect of her kit was taken away or anything. She just kind of stopped seeing play. But now that Ariel's coming back into the prioritization, I think there's definitely going to be an argument for Lunara. Because even without Ariel, it's like, she does a ton of damage. Ask Taro. Taro's doing all kinds of work. Doesn't matter what support's backing all that up. But with this last selection for import support, they themselves banned out Tassadar. Uther's already gone.
Oh.
I wouldn't be too surprised to see Malfurion show up here. That Broccoli DPS Malfurion build, not necessarily something to sleep on. And that's how you kind of help Illidan out if you're looking for added support.
This is true. Here I'm talking about this last pick, Tastar. I'm like, oh, the bands. Not looking at the bands enough. There's the Thrall once again. I like this for the solo lane here. That makes more sense. Yes, this is correct. It's fine. This is fine. Thrall, I think this is absolutely solid. The solo top laner on this map, I think, is going to be, it's probably going to be Zeratul up against Thrall here. But they also kind of want him in that rotation, so Lunar potentially up in that solo lane. That's the one thing I feel like Flame is Lame kind of dropped the ball a little bit on this one, is not having that really dominant solo laner. No Zagara is kind of surprisingly coming out here. We've seen Zagara in the last few days do absolute work, and she does work on this map as well. Excuse me. So kind of surprised that no team really favored that. Obviously, with the Abathur, it doesn't quite work. They fill the same role, but interesting that it was also not looked at even remotely on the side here of support. But overall, two very strong and solid drafts. It's really going to come down to the execution and especially the rotations.
You said it exactly right. It's going to come down to execution. I think there's a lot of facets to both of these compositions. It's going to come down to what kind of value can be had out of them. I'm curious to see how they do prioritize the solo lane. If you're on the side of Flamer's Lane, you got the Abathur. You can put a hat on there, potentially soak 2 lanes. We'll see though. But this could be one of the most explosive matches of the evening. So I hope you guys are as excited as we are. On the left, you're gonna have Flame is Lame. Legend will be playing Lunar. Shot is on Varian. Dark Chimera is playing Ariel. Trap Queen will be playing the Worm Abathur, and Deadly Ice will round it out on Zeratul.
Yes, indeed. Over on the side, in the red, we have imported support. We have FZ Ignition playing that Stitches specialty on the Leeming. The Aware playing Rhaegar. Swabs Magoo is on the Illidan, and Jerated is playing Thrall. FC Ignition not playing the support. A role swap going on here. Very interesting to see going out here. Is the Aware is not going to be playing the support. I wonder if that's if FC Ignition's internet goes out again. They've got their support.
Well, the Aware is a very competent support player, so it's not like they're going to be necessarily poor hands on that front. FC Ignition, actually, he has a history of playing the Warriors, so maybe they're just not role swapping now. Because I remember back in Heroes of the Dorm, FC Ignition's Murden on Tomb of the Spider Queen. Do you remember that game?
Oh yeah, it's every rotation's like, no,
I'm here.
Just burn, just throw it down, and just good luck walking through that. Yeah, he played that though because they didn't have a warrior player and they were able to move one of their other players to that support role. It was sort of an out of necessity thing. Speaking of things that are of the necessity, keeping your towers alive in the early game, and already Flame is Lame is losing in that regard.
Absolutely. Having that lack of body is definitely something you got to worry about. It's emboldened imported support to apply pressure in that bot lane. We could see the first tower getting taken down sooner rather than later because of it. Swabs Magoo doing what they can against Zeratul. And in this situation, if you're imported support, you kind of like having Zeratul show up a lot in the top lane, because you don't have to worry about ganking your squishier heroes like Li Ming. But he rotates down, finds Thrall. Drade is trying to get out of there. Shot
Needed that dodge. Did not find it. I was talking about Thrall being the strong solo laner, but in this case, they're actually putting him in rotation with Li Ming and Stitches, giving that additional follow-up with that Feral Spirits to actually be able to secure these takedowns, but instead being taken down himself. A shot is rotating in onto this camp. Deadly Ice has found some friends as the Detainment Strike is there, locking down the Stitches. The heals from the Aware are going to be enough, but that is a nice invade. Dark Chimera's like, guys, I'm fine. As they do steal it up right as these first altars spawn, and that is going to be one already going the way of each team. And Shot's in a good position around this up with specialty. He's got something to say about it.
Yeah, getting value out of that assassin range damage dealer Li Ming specialty. He's not going to just allow that to happen. Deadly Ice applying further pressure to FC Ignition, who's getting chunked down quite a bit. I don't think they have the well available. There's the hook on stick on Shot. Swabs Magoo shows up. Illidan closes Varian out, netting the first takedown for imported support. Dark Chimera deposits the hope on himself, gets collapsed on further still. 2 takedowns, imported support come roaring back in the bottom.
Yeah, all off the back of one massive hook right as that parry was about to expire, meaning that that was a bad spot to be in. If you are a Varian, Shot found himself up the creek without the paddle, and the heals came out, but there just wasn't enough in that situation. So nicely done. The first 2 altars going the way over of imported support, but it is still dead even. And that they are looking quite solid in this game. Abathur, of course, was split soaking during most of that. Illidan getting a bit of experience during that as well, but of course, this is where Abathur really excels in these moments. However, he doesn't do quite enough here, just presence-wise in the lane. As far as towers are actually getting pushed up the top there. And not really, you know what? Not the best position to be in, especially with this invade coming in.
Absolutely. The invasions, I think, will dictate who comes out the victor of this game. Both these teams have heavily prioritized going for these camps because of their ability to swing the momentum in their favor. There's the hook after the steal. Varian again finds himself waiting to respawn. 3 takedowns to 1 in favor of Imported Support.
And this is why when I was talking about the initial draft, talking about those solo warriors, I wasn't really listing Varian in it because pre-10, even just in the early game in general, this has always been Varian's sort of, I guess to say, sort of his bane is the early game. He just doesn't bring a whole lot to the table, even with his full shield build and the shield wall parry. And I think they're kind of feeling it here, the lack of a traditional solo warrior. Shots just going in. He's taking a lot of damage and he's surviving, but just not quite as long as I think he'd want to here. He can go in. He's got no way to get himself out.
Yeah, he can't really get a word in edgewise. He doesn't have taunt, so he's like, hey guys, please don't do this. Oh, wait. Okay, you're going to do it anyway, because my slow didn't really help too much there. So, okay, I'll just die then. It's cool. But level 10 will be a huge power spike for the members of Flame is Lame. They're going to have their Heroic for Abathur, and that'll be the clone, I'm assuming. Deadly Ice is able to just get out of there. Mule's going to get some value for old Trap Queen up here, but the damage has been done in the bot lane. Both of the towers taken down thanks to that invasion. So that tower could be in jeopardy if they lose another team fight like they did.
Yeah, absolutely. And with these Pumpkin Sappers pushing into the bot lane, Dark Chimera and Legend have got to commit a lot of resources dealing with those, and this really means they cannot advance forward to contest this altar, which means that the Aware is going to channel this essentially for free and get that nice little bonus damage going over the way of the core of Flame is Lame. This is allowing the rest of his team to set up this push and going in onto this bell tower. They are committing hard to it. I think they're going to get it no problem. Deadly Ice is rotating to the back, but I think it's too little too late.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate. Oh, the Aware overstays their welcome. That's going to be Rhaegar getting ripped off the board. Special Tree tries to teleport away. Shot
Nice
trying to body block on Draydic. Can he get the... Or the friendly hook shows up, but it's not going to be enough. Thrall ultimately does end up falling. Using Mule in the top lane pretty much meant that it wasn't going to be there for the bottom lane. It probably would have went down one way or the other, but that's now something that Flame is Lame they're going to have to deal with.
I like this a lot, too. They're going to rotate in, grab these Pumpkin Sappers, retake their bell tower. This will actually slingshot them back to level 10 right now. So Flame is Lame is actually going to come out of this on top, despite the fact that they're down in that core health. They are going to be able to make the best of this in this situation. This is going to pop them right over to level 10, or just about, just underneath, as Abba will be able to split soak 2 lanes here, and there it is.
There you go. You called it. Level 10 should also be here for the members of Imported Support by the time the next altar phase shows up. Illidan does pick up the Sapper camp in the top lane, looking to further apply pressure. Shot in the crew, rotate over to the bottom right, help themselves to a Sapper camp without any contest from Imported.
Ooh. Ooh. Woo! Our Observer almost missed the hook of the century there from Resident Vision. Oh boy, that was a confidence hook if I ever seen one. But nicely done here, but also a good counter pressure being asserted here by Imported Support as both teams are pushing in their respective areas. And these are going to be bell towers under pressure. They should have killed that one last minion, though, because the Pumpkin Sappers do basically nothing to those bad boys. So they need to get pushed in manually. That is going to be it. Bell towers trading across the board right now as this double bell tower spawns. Nicely done. And we are going to see the triple bell tower spawn in the next round. But this is going to be the big question for me. Now that they've got the clone, how can they use this? This is really going to determine the power of Trap Queen in this matchup and what he can bring to these team fights.
Absolutely, because for the most part, Flame is Lame have actually been able to hold their own going up to their heroics, considering that they've been down a body. Both of these teams looking to effectively just trade out for the moment. One keeps stolen a piece. So yeah, both of these teams just kind of like passing each other, passing ships, and then like, well, we'll see you late game. Don't worry about it. We're not too worried. But then we got the Crystal Aegis negating the hunt. Dark Chimera, low on health, finally does go down. 1-for-1 trade, though. Thrall gets rocked, the clone alive for the moment. Trap Queen trying to help secure the takedown on FC Ignition, who used Putrid Bile, and Shot gets brought on back thanks to the hook before going down. Illidan falls as well. These teams...
No!
Oh no, oh no!
Specialty, baby, with the going off that critical mass. Oh no. The little baby Bambi brought Zeratul to the graveyard with her. Hey friend, let's go together, hold hands. And they just jumped right to their deaths there. That was not ideal at all. They just should have let that one be. That was a pretty even trade, but now losing those last 2 heroes, those stagger deaths, that puts them in a really rough spot here. As level 13 is just around the corner and both these Pumpkin Sappers are up.
I blame FC Ignition personally. Because a Stitch's hook at the right or wrong time, depending on what end of it you're on, can have disastrous impact. It's like, we thought that team fight was over. It's like, all right, then, it's an even trade. Both teams start backing away now. And FC Ignition was like, actually, before I go, yank him on in there, gets the takedown, and then Specialty was like, I got it from here, good sir. But the action continues to wage on. Trap Queen, the clone, is going to get taken down. Ancestral Healing will connect. Zeratul wastes the respawn shot. Gets knocked back by the Li Ming Orb, or the Heroic. Gets taken down there. Li Ming Orb on the back of Dark Chimera's face. Forces out the Crystal Ages. That pretty much secures their fate. He pops out. He pops for real. 10 takedowns to 5.
Ouch. This is looking absolutely solid. The Aware's taking a lot of unnecessary damage, but it don't even matter none as they're pushing in here. Actually, his lack of mana makes this actually does matter some. But they're going to take this back now, and this is going to be 5 bell towers going the way of imported support. They are looking very solid here. It's just coming down to the fact that the team, and I talked about this early, is the synergy. We're seeing a little bit of a lack of it from FIL right now, as IS is able to just split them up beautifully. The Hunt forcing a Legend of the backline. Leeming was forced to commit resources, which means that Zeratul went in. He didn't have those resources from the heals, and that is a rough spot. This is 5 shots to 3 right now. We are looking at 19 left on the board for the core of Flame is Lame, and here comes the rotation. That is a flight they do not want to see.
They're going in. The Earthquake is going to drop as well. Shot's going to be isolated for the moment. There's double parry proc, shield wall getting value, keeping Shot alive for the moment. The Aware sees a good amount of damage put on him as well. There's the hook. FC Ignition curling that evil mustache, setting up big plays for their team. Oh my lord, 3 heroes taken down on the side of Flame is Lame. Cooldown resets appear to be a thing.
Oh yes, the mass is critical indeed, and this is the problem with this draft, is the second Li Ming is given an inch, she will take that mile. And again, we just see there's so much focus. Lunara needs help because Illidan is constantly hunting her, constantly getting on her big booty. And we are seeing that Shot is desperately in need. Is desperately in need of those that healing, those resources, because he is taking so much damage in the front line. I feel real bad for Ariel right now. She's like, guys, I can only click the buttons so fast. And because Lunara is always forced to run away, she's not generating that hope.
Yeah, I mean, Bursting Light was the talent of choice at level 7, but even then, it feels like Dark Chimera's having a whale of a time keeping their teammates alive, and it's all thanks to this heavy poke from Specialty. FC Ignition's been landing hooks to start team fights on their terms. Pressure still in this bottom lane. We do see 1, 2, all 3 sappers potentially make it across the line. FC Ignition is low on health. Varian is going to be first to fall once again. Void Prison goes down, but I think the damage has already been done, so there's next to no value to be had. More of a stalling gesture, if anything. Not doing too much for Flames.
Yes, indeed. And interesting going on right now. Just looking at the way these bell towers have lined themselves up. Trying to do the math here. Yes, that will in fact be GG if all 3 are captured here. And I think the big thing that I'm realizing is the Void Prisons from Deadly Ice. They're not coming down soon enough. They're not separating the team correctly. And I feel like that's the more I look at these team fights, the more I feel like that's what's going on. Also, FC Ignition is hitting like an absolute truck. These slams, you can't not undervalue the amount of damage that goes into these. Even taking down Spell Tower, that's not going to be enough. I feel like this is probably going to be it. This is going to be GG, even level 16 at their disposal. I think this is going to be the end for Flame is Lame here as these shots are pushing in. Lunara falls, Dark Chimera is down. Shots like, we got to get this Bell Tower, but it is too little, too late, I believe. And yes, indeed, that is going to be it. That is going to be the game, Haloran. A good try from Flame is Lame, but IS is just too strong.
Imported support, man, they are a team to be reckoned with. Flame is Lame equally so, but it just definitely seemed like imported support had their number this game. Well played throughout. 32 points still in their core when all things are said and done. They looked rock solid from beginning to end.
Yeah, Specialty just did absolute work. 37,000. But number 2 on the team was actually FC Ignition with 34,000. He out-damaged Legend. He did more damage than any of the assassins on the side of Flame is Lame. That is saying something. Stitch is able to just stand strong in the front line and really just soak up a lot of that hurt. Nicely done there from them. I really needed Zeratul to get in the back line, VP the Rhaegar, and one other. Allow them to then isolate the Thrall, isolate the Illidan, taunt the Illidan, blow him up, and then move on with the fight. I feel like that's what needed to happen there. We didn't quite see that. We saw some attempts at it, but just Zeratul was here, and Lunara was always down here getting chased by Elden, and Zeratul's going through damage, and Darkhammer's in the middle going like, I can only queue one person, so one of you gets it, the other one's dead. And that was really just the situation, is that Zeratul couldn't kill the backline before Elden could kill their backline.
I feel like Flame is Lame's comp tried to do too much. It just seemed like there were too many opposing ideas. It's like, hey, we'll have Abathur. He can split side, split soap the whole time. It'll be fun. But you also have Zeratul, who's very burst oriented. So you have these heroes, one specializing in the team fights being a long progression, another one that wants the team fight to be over much sooner than that. And you're also dealing with a variant as your solo warrior where taunt, if you're not setting up a near takedown off a taunt in the beginning of a team fight, your back is already against the wall, and that's not where you want to be against F's the Ignition, Stitches, who's going to yank somebody out of position, and a Special T who's been going off. And when you have Stitches out damaging Lunara, it's just it's not going to add up well overall.
No, it's really not. Unfortunately, it was just one of those positions where it's like, well, they had to do the best with what they had, and I just feel like the Abathur wasn't, because of the ability for Illidan to just counter soak with the global. The Abathur just didn't get them far enough ahead in the early game. Like, you're supposed to beat them to 10, and they just didn't beat them to 10 because they were just getting pushed into the ground every single time they tried to go for a camp. They were invaded every time. And they got one invade of their own, but then they never were the aggressors in that situation. Just being down that body in the early game, I feel really hurt them. And the threat of Hunt constantly coming in just really put them on the back foot and just said, we're afraid of the Illidan coming in and making us real sad.
It could happen.
So, yeah, it was interesting. For sure. I mean, I definitely a good showing from both squads, but important support just, I think, was just a little bit of a little higher level there.
Yeah, I mean, both teams definitely seem to understand the general ebb and flow of that map. Both teams tried to apply pressure to one another. They tried to go for the invades. They understood the importance of the bottom lane, of the sapper camps. It just seemed to come down to draft composition and the ability to execute. I think that Flame is Lame had a much narrower margin for success. Like, the taunt in Void Prison had to be awe-inspiring to really secure those team fights. Whereas Li Ming's just like, all right, well, I can set up a game-changing amount of burst every 8 seconds, pretty much. So we can just wait. Like, we're not eating a bunch of damage. We don't have too much to worry about. And the clone's not going to be there forever, so here we go. But the next game we're going to follow is going to be Imported Support versus TQ, who were actually able to best Juk Fuki.
Oh no, not Juk Fuki. Oh, okay. It's Fatal, Woven, Radiant, Waddle. Okay, yeah. All right. I mean, they got the work cut out for them again, as does anyone going up against Imported Support. Looking across the board to the other.
I'm crazy.
You good, bud?
I think so. Imported Support versus TQ.
Yeah.
Okay, I was looking at the wrong week.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they beat
Support. TQ beat
Bamboozled. Bratra and Bambuxled.
Bambuxled.
So they beat who?
Firm handshake against 101st Northumberland Fusiliers. 101st are the winners of the first season. Pretty much.
Yes.
4 guys in Legend.
Basically 4 guys. Minus the Legend and with Picante.
4 guys in a spice heap Picante.
Ooh, Drake is real good at the video game.
Oh.
If I was looking to someone, I mean, Legend is a playmaker. If I'm looking to someone to replace Legend, it's definitely our boy Picante.
Oh,
he's an absolute beast.
Well, when we did our Dorm All-Stars, he was my first overall pick.
And he would have been mine if you hadn't taken him from me. So, in my 1-2. Hey. So.
But we have heard from our good old-fashioned Argy.
Yes, indeed. Waiting lobby. Okay, let's get into it then. Oh, you're not
TQ bans out Braxis holdout. Import Support took Forehead Junction off the board. TQ have elected to take us to Dragonshire.
Nice.
Which means
I like the map diversity.
They've given Import Support the luxuries of first pick, first ban, and after the games we've seen tonight, Might be a perilous gesture.
Yeah, that could be interesting. I mean, like at this point, you take the cards you're dealt. You got to make the best of it. I go and play your game. Don't let the threat of imported support, really dissuade you, and just do what you got to do. I feel like it's as simple as that at the end of the day.
Oh, I just got a friend request from Draded. Feels good, man.
Oh, nice. I think my friends list is full.
Stay positive and don't die.
Positive and don't die.
All right, we're getting in the lobby though. On the left side of the BTQ, so let me update this now ahead of time because I'm good at this and I know what I'm doing.
Oh, I know you
And
do.
on the right side, it will continue to be the imported support. Make sure that everything's lined up there.
I have to say, the one thing I'm really enjoying is the fact that we get to see so many different maps and so many different strategies come out tonight. I don't think we've seen two of the same sort of strategies so far tonight, even from seeing the same teams. I think we're really just sort of seeing the breadth of what the meta has to offer right now, which is pretty vast. I think you commented about this on Monday, is the fact that this is the most open the meta has ever been. So many viable heroes, man. It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it makes things really interesting because there are some S tier heroes like the Genjis, like the Tassadars who get banned out a lot. Uther still sees a lot of play early on, one way or the other in these drafts. But think of pretty much any hero in this game right now. If they are put in the right comp and in the right situation, they're gonna do work. And that's not something that we could say like even 6 months ago, I feel. So Blizzard's really doing a good job of shoring up these heroes who fall out of meta, like Zul. The new Zul, I don't know if you had a chance to really see what he does, but he's a beast.
Yeah, he done good. He does fun stuff. I'm also really excited for Stukov. I think he's gonna mix things up a lot. His auto attack animation is the slowest thing known to man, but when he hits like a truck.
Dude, that stiff arm heroic.
What?
It's more crafty, man. The one that just shoves you back forever.
You just hit the wall.
He's like, I need you to relax. I need you to calm that down.
Sir, I'm engineering step back. Sir, I'm engineering step back. Way out against the wall. Sir, against the wall. Sir.
I need you all the way over there.
Yeah, we need like an angry mall security guard skin for Stukov. Sir, I have an inflated sense of self and an overimportance. Sir, I'm not a cop. Sir, I need, sir. That's. Sir, he's Russian. Sir, I need you to stand far over. Sir, please. It's difficult. I'm the Commander Stukov. Used to be big guy. You may have heard of me. Difficult. I know. I've got big arm now. Isn't it fancy? I mean, really, that's what we need though in my life. I'm just saying.
Blizzard, you've heard it here first. Make this man's dream come true. But yeah, man, it's funny and it feels bad when you're on the receiving end of it because there's some really interesting angles to play with that. So once Stukov does make their appearance, a lot of people heralded the end of the double support meta, as it were, after some of the recent balance patches. But
God,
I'll tell you one thing, man. I did a quick match last night. Stukov and Morales.
Oh no. Oh no.
I don't know, you just don't kill people. It was tough, man.
No.
It was tough.
With a safeguard too? Good luck to you.
It hurt. It hurt.
It hurt.
FC Ignition gets his stitches. He just wants to play. He just wants to play.
You just wanna play.
So you start off your draft like that and your imported support, you feel good about pretty much any situation you find yourself in. Dragonshire is one of those battlegrounds where there's a lot of walls to yank somebody over. Somebody be shopping for a new pair of pants after that hook comes in out of nowhere. They don't expect it. 2 heroes, 2 select now, however, for TQ. Who do you go for here? We haven't seen any Dahaka tonight.
Yeah, we haven't. And I feel like a lot of that has to do with just sort of the maps we've been seeing and the prioritization of the team fights and the brawls. I mean, obviously the globals have been in it a bit, but they haven't been prioritized other than like the hunt. I guess they have with the last game. But I just feel like maybe teams are looking more towards that solo warrior life, and Dahaka's not quite fitting into that in his like pseudo bruiser stance.
Right.
Wouldn't be surprised though. I was gonna say Ariel to be in the 1-2. I think she's just worth it right now. And with the Vol as well. This is literally my favorite combo. Last season, me and my buddy Aaron, top GM player, ran this in team league. We went 9-1 in our placements, and he just played Vala, and I just played Ariel. And this is before his thing, and we could just carry games. You can put a game on your back as this combo if you have trust in each other, and Vala is allowed to just go off. Is scary.
One thing that's very interesting about this combination, again, I did some team league with the Ebros the other night, and the Ebros took Ariel Vala on Infernal Shrines, and they just pushed the bot lane the entire game. They didn't show up for objectives. They didn't do anything. The two of them just pushed the bottom lane until they got the keep like 9 minutes in. It was tough. And it was like their whole team would try to respond to it. Like, so it was effectively a 2v5 on a consistent basis. And they just got Ebro'd. It was hilarious. We do see our Dahaka the first time tonight. Chromie shows up as well. I'd imagine we would see an Uther or Malfurion or something to really secure that placement after the hook to make sure the Chromie burst lands. Nicely done. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, there's that hockey you were asking for. The Chromie setup is now very real. I also apologize. Apparently, I got real loud on that last bit. People like, I heard him in my kitchen, says man to dad. And oh boy, sir, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Gotta go back it up a little bit. I'll back it up. I'm sorry, guys. Trying my very best.
Sorry that he's not sorry.
I'm a little sorry. I know what it's like. Just Jesus, I know what that's like. I can appreciate that. So looking at this, Ariel Vala is the setup here. Looking at the ban, you really just want to take out that support you for the most. I believe it's going to be Uther in this situation. The most sense. And in fact, it is Greymane. So wanting to deny that as well. This suggests to me that maybe they're actually going to look to go that double support route with that Ariel Uther themselves. I feel like they're going to put the ban...
Cho'Gall.
Oh, right, that too. But like, Uther's pretty good in Cho'Gall. Anyway, all the CC. Yeah, but yeah.
You heard it here first.
I don't doubt, actually.
Because if you're on TQ and you see the Stitches shows up first pick, and you could very well take Greymane yourself coming out of this ban phase and afford yourself a free 40% off of Stitches' health bar. Chaos comes. Here it is. It's about to be the two-headed. They're spending a lot of time. To lock in this Cho'Gall. I don't even know what they're waiting on.
I mean,
just do it.
I think is I really can't rule it out. I really can't. Cho'Gall's actually not in a bad spot right now. A lot of top players actually think Cho'Gall is really strong. There's just a lot of risk of running him. But at this point in the draft, they actually could. It would give them 2 last picks to do so. I really want to do it if you're on the other side of things near that spot. You get those last picker-uppers right there. But
if I'm TQ, I'm taking Cho'Gall right meow. And I'm gonna round it out with meow. And then I'm considering Falstad or Brightwing to round it out.
Yeah, maybe. And honestly, the Greymane ban then makes a lot more sense now because obviously Cursed Bullet hurts.
Right.
And the old one too hurts. Tough to deal with this Cho'Gall. But it
see.
Sometimes it feel like it does, but it do. I don't know.
TQ. You hurt one caster's feelings tonight. I don't get. Okay, I mean, Greymane's a strong ban regardless, but if you already have Ariel and you have Vala, and you're in this situation, Cho'Gall just walks up the Chromie. Hi, Chromie.
Hi.
I mean, I guess you could worry about Gorge at level 10 if you're Cho'Gall, but still, man.
I honestly feel like at that point, they can literally round it out. They go triple warrior with the Anub, get the web wrap, and then Cho'Gall's just like, well, I had a good life. Enjoy, team.
We haven't seen a Anub back at all tonight.
Yeah, well, I know he's got some nerfs, so that's why he's sort of fallen out of things. Someone brought it up in chat earlier, actually. Why aren't we seeing any Anub? But
and we see the new Zul.
He's a new man. And I'm not like a new man, like from the. I mean, he makes new men, but he's also a new man.
All right, so you got your solo laner in Sonya, you have ETC, and you have the disappointment of one Halorn for not taking Cho'Gall. How do you round your composition out if you're a TQ? You're looking at Zul, you're looking at 2 warriors, heavy melee composition, along with the long-range poke. I'll tell you one thing though, man. In port support, whoever gets hooked, it's more or less goodbye.
Which is why I want either Zarya or Medivh in this last pick. I think Triple Warrior Zarya in this composition with almost like a pseudo Triple Bruiser. The shields can deny a lot. The bubble wrap on her teammates can save a lot of damage in that situation. Also the cleanse and shield is going to get a lot of value there as well.
There you go.
The other option. Yep.
Go.
I wanted a shield. Zul sets it up. Zul Chromie is such a annoying combo. Added the Haka and Stitches roots to that. The lockdown going on the side of IS right now is beyond dangerous. It is in fact it's gonna be tough. So I think the Medivh is absolutely the correct call. Also giving even more mobility to Sonya, ETC, and Vala. Ooh, yes, they'll take that any day.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the synergy of Crystal Aegis and Force of Will on Battlefield of Eternity. I mean, it's just gonna offer a lot of sustain and support against this heavy burst damage. And if Medivh is played what I would consider to be correctly, Force of Will won't come out until you've heard Zul's like root sound. Cause you know they're looking for that uppercut. It's like hook you, you're rooted in, you're not going anywhere. I'm gonna blow you up. That's when you put the Force of Will. You negate Chromie's burst, and then Chromie's just an auto attack damage dealer doing nothing for the team.
And for the record, Romo, with that tweet, you could have picked a better screenshot, buddy. Come on. Come on. Just saying.
Just saying.
But
next game of the night, TQ is on the left side. Redian is playing ETC. Waddle is on Medivh. Fatal will be playing the Demon Hunter. Vala. Woven's on Sonya. And Renray be the support on Art.
Yes, indeed. And on the side of the board, we have imported support. We have the Aware on Malfurion FC Ignition playing. That Stitches rated is on the Zul. And there is Swabspagu holding it out on the Dahaka. And I believe that is our specialty. There he is on that Wheel Chromie with that mount. Oh my god, that skin and mount combo is perfect. Look at how small that character is. That is just silly.
Pretty good. It's pretty good.
Pretty good.
FC Ignition hanging out front, jacking for position. Radiant isn't looking to get too froggy for a power slide or something to that effect. Woven spears in, spins the win immediately afterwards. Aware steps forward almost like he's thinking he has Twilight Dream already. Not to be, however. Radiant gets chunked down quite a bit, starts to back away. Specialty, meanwhile, long range damage, trying to get those pokes in. Not able to set down takedowns for their team, but a nice detainment strike. Uh-oh, the power slide afterwards. Stitches. He wanted to play. TQ obliged him.
And this is exactly what I'm thinking about in that draft. I'm thinking the ability to just get ETC and Sonya in a position where they can just get angles they couldn't otherwise. It also allowed Ariel to get that awesome position, get that detainment strike, to follow up on that power slide. This is exactly what they need to be doing, not to mention the fact that Sonya actually does pretty good in the solo lane matchup, all things considered. It's more of a skill matchup, but, you know, can win it against the Dahaka, which is really solid. This is also shutting this ability to just move faster between lanes, is shutting down Draded's ability to dominate in what he does best, which is wave clear.
Absolutely. I mean, at the very least, Sonya stands to not lose that lane. Skill-based matchup, like you said. You land the right macro, you put in a spear and whatnot at the right time. You make sure the essences are stacked up. Sonya can very well have the upper hand in that lane. The power slide just misses on specialty. Face melt for posterity. There's a detainment strike on Chromie's face, knocking her back, but no threat of a takedown.
Yeah, I mean, you're now forcing the bird to have fun with the Necromancer, and that's not an ideal situation, but that is a beautiful power slide to follow up. Oh, Renray not quite in position with that detainment strike. I think it was a cooldown, but there's the hook! And with that Force of Will, with that portal, Renray is out, and that is exactly why Medivh was the correct pick in this draft. Beautifully executed there. Nice recovery for the side of TQ, showing off why they are in our semi-final tonight of the Heroes Hype series with Tempo Storm. Guys, give us your hype in chat. Give us your hype on Twitter if you're excited for this game, because so far it's like spicy.
Yeah, if that was any other hero besides Medivh, Renray would be waiting to respawn range. But the first shrine phase is going to be here. Renray is back to business. Puts the hope in on ETC. Specialties landing these sandblasts. Fatal's like, ow. Is able to get back behind the fort wall. Redian finds himself a long way from home, however. Could be the potential target. And a sandblast to the face. Specialty's like, I'm not going to miss this one. Or that one.
Specialty with the multitask. I'm put one over there. I'm put one over here. Boom, double kill. She's like, yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. And that's how Chromie's a smoker now. And level 6 to level 5. This is what I was talking about earlier with Medivh struggling against Rated in the mid lane. Grid's like, I don't need to rotate, I just need to push like a fiend, and I'm going to do so as this mid fort is already under a lot of pressure. A full level lead now coming off the side of IS. DQ's going to back up, they're going to macro up a bit, take themselves some camps, reset themselves a bit on the map, and then make a concentrated push up in this top lane and this bottom lane to make sure that they've got these altars and shrines going. Let's give themselves that first DK.
And Verum, I call this the Stitches effect, because what we see now, and hold on, we might see some more action. The Tamer Strike goes in, Waddle's here with the Force of Will, puts the portal down. There's the root afterwards. Force of Will does keep Ario alive for the moment. Portal, Waddle jumps in there, gets out of there, rooted afterwards. Oh! Maybe it's the Chromie effect we're seeing here, because right now what you see is some very passive play out of TQ, and it just seems like they're trying to find answers on how they wade into this composition. They don't want to get hooked, they don't want to get blown up by Chromie, and all that's doing is allowing the members of Importer support to get ahead and experience and continue to apply pressure. It's starting to look like checkmate 4 minutes into the game.
I think the big issue right now is that a lot of engaged. Ooh, yeah, that's rough. He was able to build up essence, and that's what happens when that happens. Problem is, looking at the ETC is, yeah, there's the DK as well. That was really well timed. The problem with this is ETC is not someone we see him play a ton right now, and that's because he's kind of not. The niche isn't quite there. And I'm looking at this, and normally we saw ETC paired with, Li Ming and with Tyrande and with other things that enable the burst. But right now, the only burst they really have is Fatal. I mean, yeah, Sonya can do a little bit there, but they're not often together. And I feel like ETC's just like, guys, going in and making the big play. There's the stun, and okay, they're just so alive. We don't have quite the follow-up we need here. And that's the problem with going sort of the Medivh as well. Obviously, it was a great pick to counter, but it was also the spot of a true blue assassin. And yeah, Medivh can do a bit once he gets that master touch going, but I just feel like they're struggling in their overall damage, and we're really feeling it in this mid game.
You make a really good point. I think the reason why ETC is not really in the meta, and we're going to talk about that in a moment. Woven spinning for their very lives as traded Whales on this top well, taking a sustain option for sure off the board. There's the portal going down. Waddle, does he dare to dream? I was like, all right, if he steps out there for that, that's mainly to help Sonya get out of there. The drag just misses. The root doesn't, however. There's the Force of Will. The portal goes away. Woven now a long way from home. Drags back. Sonya's gone.
Wow, the early Force of Will, the missed spear, that was a bit of a comedy of errors there, unfortunately. As Edition's like, hey, ETC, you thought you were going somewhere. No, so you have a date with Destiny. Oh, it's the perfectly timed Twilight Dream from the Awares, like, guys, kill secured. They call it overkill. I call it overdrive. Oh, baby! Against that ETC. And up in the top lane, the macro play does not stop. IS is looking solid.
Yeah, they are having the full run of this map. And as far as ETC goes, I think his problem is where Anub'arak is going to find himself after this current patch. He doesn't have the health to be a main tank, and he doesn't have the damage to really serve the role as a bruiser. So he's just kind of in this weird spot on both fronts, and where if your team is not able to secure takedowns in the lockdown that he can afford, you got a big wet noodle standing there just eating damage, doing not too much for your team. And ETC struggling this game because of it. There's the hook afterwards. Actually saves him the trouble of the burst from Special T, but he's like, I can hit this Sandblast, guys. It's fine. He's gone.
Yeah, Special T has been an absolute nightmare. And speaking of nightmares, Val had just entered the Shadow Realm. Oh, baby. As the rest of this team is just securing this. Oh, there's another one. ETC has tried his absolute... Oh, wait, what? A little bit of miscommunication there, though. ETC's like, I'm getting away this time. You can't catch me. And he very almost didn't. Wow.
As the Ignition looked left for some reason, because he definitely could have dumped ETC out on that root, right? And that would have been a dead ETC for certain. But because of
Wait, did that just happen? Did Renray... Did I just see that right? Renray threw the Detainment Strike as Dehaka through the tongue, and they just like knocked each other back.
I think
that
so.
Is that just what happened there? Someone watch that back. That was crazy. Sorry to interrupt you there, man. That was absolutely crazy. I've never seen that before.
A new and exciting interaction for Enverum saves Renray's bacon for the moment, because if Ario got pulled out of position, that could have been a rough time. Bala's still trying to decide what heroic they want to go for. Strafe Not sure that would get the value. I think they just need the lockdown. Leyline Seal comes out to play. FC Munition rotates up. The Tamer Strike is not going to land a stun, so just save Zul the trouble. There's the drag. Force of Wolves and keep Waddle alive for the moment. First damage from Specialty, just barely misses. Twilight Dream into the protection for Sonya, keeps them alive for the moment. Medivh goes down. Vala waits to respawn as well. Renray does hit the Tamer Strike to try and get out of there, but Specialty from downtown says, Kobe. 11
Specialty.
takedowns to win.
Specialty MVP, hands down. He's been landing skill shots like you would not believe. This guy is an absolute monster on these smallest of characters, doing so much work right now. I gotta say, a lot of stuff looked decent in that fight coming up for TQ. I actually really love the Arl's positioning. Actually walked forward, baited some skill shots, self-Aegis, burned them, and when them was in position to self-heal as well as heal her front line. Really cool little positioning. Unfortunately, Medivh was getting taken down in the back line, couldn't quite self-sustain there, but overall, I saw some glimmers of brilliance for TQ in that game, in that fight rather, but man, it's just, IS is just way too strong right now. The pure synergy we're seeing from them is truly undeniable.
Absolutely. I mean, there's just so many different angles to consider and play with this composition. It's really hard for TQ to do much of anything. They got to worry about hooks. They got to worry about getting gores. They got to worry about Specialty sniping them from Tomb of the Spider Queens. It's going to be the second keep being taken down. Waddle starts to back away. Fatal with the Burger King crown, trying to do damage on the flank. The root ready to get around. Shield goes down. Swap. Drew does lose the Dragon Knight. Do they have enough to end this game? Twilight Dream goes in. Woven. Sonya goes home.
Yeah, nicely done there on the Raid of Vengeance as well, swallowed up by that Force of Will. The Burrow's going as well, especially trying to do the damage to the backline. That the core has taken quite a bit of damage, down to 51%, and the team is trying to make this happen as Radiant has rejoined the fight. There's the stun as well, but that Bone Prism is going to get work done. There's the follow-up route, and he is just gone. That is some AAA Wagyu right there. American homegrown, going to be reserved up on the plate of imported support, as that is going to be GG. Nicely done there from them as they take this game.
Excellent play from beginning to end. TQ showed some flashes of brilliance there, some nice execution. But this composition from imported support just has too many facets, too many angles. Proves to be too much for TQ. Wow, man. I was hoping we could see some newfangled Zul tonight.
Yeah.
And, had a part to play. But Specialty, man, play of the game. I mean...
Yeah.
Any critical team fight, Specialty was there.
Specialty was there. I'm about to drop the pun of the night with this one. I mean, Chromie hitting these skill shots, especially on the ETC at the end. He's turning Kobe into Kobe. Oh baby, it's difficult. It's rough. It's expecting more of a reaction from that one. Good, not gonna lie, but that's fine.
No. In 2 minutes, you'll see my reaction. It was a visceral. It just got me to the core.
Thank you.
Well played, sir.
Thank you, sir. No, really though, Specialty literally had a moment of he dropped the Dragon's Breath and then threw out the Sandblast, and like within a half a second got 2 takedowns at once. I'm just like, well, I feel good about myself, and rightfully so.
Hey, welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. This is week 4 of Heroes Hype Tempo Storm Series 2. And we have an exciting best of 3 finals ahead of you. My name is Lauren. I've been casting all night with the young man in Barum himself. And we have heard from Argy. Best of 3 finals will be 101st Northumberland Fusiliers versus Imported Support. I'm excited for this one. We have the 4 members of the Series 1 winners going up against Imported Support, who have looked just flat out dominant all night tonight. And with 101st knocking out, who was it again? Who did they take on? Oh, why can I not remember their name right now? Oh my god, feels bad. But with that victory, making it into the finals, the first place position is effectively up for grabs.
It is, and it's funny because you talk about the Royal Northumberland Fusiliers. Like, that name sounds really familiar. It's because in my hometown we have the Royal Highland Fusiliers, which is why that sounds so familiar. So you're asking, I mentioned it earlier. I'm Googling, I'm on Wikipedia, going like, why does this sound so familiar?
Talion made that name and he had messaged me on Discord and was like, "You gotta say the whole name every time." And I think
101st Northumberland Fusiliers.
yeah, I think I've been betting over 90% pretty solid there. So I try to keep up with that. But yeah, with Firm Handshake falling to 101st Northumberland Fusiliers, it puts the standings of this season into question. Because let me look back and look at the
Yeah, because Firm Handshake came in tonight as the number 1 seed. They took down the Reborn Knights. Oh my science. And of course, then fell the 101st Northumberland Fusiliers in that semi. So they were coming in as the favorite after their strong performance in previous weeks. However, they are now up against the powerhouse that is IS, Imported Support, who have done quite well for themselves so far, both in the amateur, the amateur season as a whole, particularly in the open, and now they're here doing work.
Yeah, they've turned their talents to heroes hype, and they've made a splash, to say the very least. Right now, Firm Handshake are in first place with 18 points, so they will not be in the finals. So they, at best, could make 5 points this week, I believe. Flame is Lame. We saw them go down. They were second with 14. TQ, we just saw them fall in Imported Support. They were third with 10. 101st Northumberland Fusiliers now in the finals. We're right behind that with 9. So if 101st Northumberland Fusiliers win this, the whole landscape changes. One way or the other, a new challenger has appeared with Imported Support. If they show up, they win here, and they win week 5, they could find themselves in the top 3, top 4 pretty easily.
Yep.
So they've definitely shaken things up.
Yeah, there's still time. There's still time to get that work in, get themselves secured in that final round. That's what's all it all comes down to. I remember back in the day when the first amateur tournaments for heroes, and there were quite a few actually. We were doing 4 a week at one point, and there really wasn't. What we found was there really wasn't a goal. You know what I mean? You'd play every week and maybe you win a little bit of prize money with the ESL Go 4 as well and a bunch of other stuff. And maybe you'd win a little prize bowl, but it really didn't mean anything. And then back in the day when we founded Heroes United and put everything together and added the point system in and the playoffs and the prize pools and the crowdfunding. That's when we really, and the folks over at, Nextverse had a bunch of this stuff sort of in place and we sort of took and adapted it. We really found that it made it so much more important because every week mattered. Every week meant something. And the fact that the community has come together time and time again to raise so much money for these players who come out and do it all just for the love of the game for a chance to win. I mean, it just raises the stakes so much and it makes every week in all these standings so important.
Absolutely. And it makes it interesting for us as fans of these teams. Because there are stakes, there are things on the line. There's a narrative that develops over the course of the weeks. And you guys should definitely head over to heroeshype.com to not only catch up on the latest amateur action and news. Flag 5 put up another really good weekly recap of the Open Division and Heroes Hype from last week. If you want to keep your finger on the pulse of everything going on in the North American amateur scene, no better place than go there. But you can also check on the standings. Royce just posted a link there. Royce Cooties, Best Cooties NA. A little bit of an inside meme. But yeah, head over there. A lot of work's been going into making that site as high quality as possible. So definitely check that out. But we have heard from our good old-fashioned Argy, 101st Northumberland Fusiliers ban out Braxis holdout and Imported Support. Take Forehead Junction off the board. Game 1 will in turn be on Infernal Shrines, my personal favorite map to cast. Excited to say the least.
As am I. We're seeing so much map diversity tonight. The teams have got our best interests at heart. I feel like we're going to go through the entire map pool at this rate, and I dig it. Infernal Shrines, probably I think we're on agreement on this. Probably my favorite map in the game right now, just because of how much fun the mechanic works. The fact they can come down to one skeletal defender being the difference maker. Like, you don't really get hype moments like that on too many other maps, and I love it. And just the big 3-lane macro oriented, lots of mercs, lots of rotations. I dig it. It's all what I'm about. So I'm excited to see how these teams play out. We ready. And baby, let's get into it. I recognize if we put the combined hours played of heroes of everyone in this game, we're probably looking at like I don't know, 15,000 hours.
Yeah.
I would say easily.
Either one of these teams, Varum, could very well find themselves in each season. That's the level of play that we're seeing here. And this best of 3, we're going to see stars of the amateur scene clash, to say the very least. Over on the right side again will be imported support, who enjoy the luxury as a first pick first band. Now, Varum, the question I have for you, see Tassar get banned. Do you consider the Stitches ban here if you're 101st? I would.
I think you consider it. I'm not sure on actually on this map. I was just saying, Skulltusk defenders can put a kink in your hook, but I don't think that didn't necessarily come out quite how I meant it. But anyway, Here we are. It's been said. I definitely think it's something you consider, but I think just with the Genji options on board and even Mouth on this map is dirty, and now with how good the hooks have been, I think you definitely consider it. And but I think there's still Uther Genji, a couple other options that maybe warrant it more. But no, to your credit, with how good FC Ignition's been playing it, it's
I would ban it. Because, yeah, conceptually, Infernal Shrines, you're like, the hook gets interrupted by the defenders. There's a lot of value negated out of that. But FC Ignition has been playing this hero to such a level, he out-damaged a Lunara.
Yeah, it's true.
And that's not something you really discount, because I just saw there was no other way this draft's going to go but first pick Stitches.
Yeah,
and that slam build on those defenders,
it does work.
It's gonna add up. It's just gonna add up.
Just drop the cleaver or the large plastic shovel. Just do it.
Either way.
Sun's
out, guns out.
Sun's out, guns out. Indeed, I agree. It's just the time. It's about summertime. And oh man, that was actually not bad.
Yeah,
I'll take that.
Good.
Looking at these 1-2s though, to your point, how high up? Obviously, they've already been out the Ariel, and the tassels are already off the board. How high up do you give away? What's your big playmakers? Do you hold back a little bit? Do you hold back a little bit if you're the 101st Northumberland Fusiliers, or do you just go all in from pick number 1?
Well, I go ham,
and they do.
And ham, that is ham personified. Uther Genji in the 1-2.
Oh, yeah.
You've afforded one of the most dynamic mobile assassins in the game right now, with the potential synergy of Divine Shield. Get in there and be somebody. You're invulnerable, kid. Go ahead and do it. That could be how you respond to the pressure that Import Sport have been putting on their opponents all evening. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the best situation too if you're Genji. You're like, I need healing. And Uther's like, okay. I mean, that's just how that goes. He's just like, you don't need healing when you're invincible. I mean, Genji pulls out the Dragon Blade, and he's just like, I'm gonna go in, and Uther's just like, yeah, I got you.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
It's cool. It's cool.
Now, I'm actually wondering if Stitches. We've seen FC Ignition use both Putrefile and Gorge tonight. Ooh. Okay, so if I'm Genji, I'm a little more concerned. That's a lot of lockdown to consider.
Yeah, that is.
He can avoid the drag from Dahaka reasonably well. He can also avoid the hook from Stitches very well. The root is also something he can avoid. But all three in tandem, if you're spending so much time worrying about getting locked down and immediately paying for it, you're not going to be as offensive leaning as you would be otherwise. And even that might have a subtle and indirect but significant impact on how much value Genji is going to be able to have.
Yeah, this to me, I mean, Greymane's a priority, I think, too, now, if you're the side. The 101st Northumberland Fusiliers. Because you need another threat. Right now, Genji is the threat. He's the king threat. And all the efforts can put into shutting down that Genji, the Twilight Dreams, the Drags, the Roots, the Hooks, the Gorges, what have you. But I think you need to just create another threat. You need to, and wow, you're banning the Greymane. That's really interesting. Okay, no, the Lee Mane. Okay. Makes more sense. Because I feel like the Greymane with that Curse Bullet into this Double Warrior is just too much. But a Lee Mane would be another option, another strong threat as well. Something that you just need to deal with. Because Genji, like Illidan, like Tracer, functions best when you when you need to focus someone else, and then this annoying thing happening to your backline, disrupting your supports, disrupting your damage dealers. That's when Genji thrives. Like Illidan, like Tracer, these spazzy pseudo mobile bruiser assassin things. I don't know. And that's really when he shines. So I like this. I would ban Greymane if I'm the side of IS right now, because threats need to be real.
Yeah, if I'm on the side of imported support, I'm FC Ignition right now, and I'm like, guys, we need to ban Greymane, right? I don't want to lose 40% of my health bar magically. I don't want to do it. Just can we ban him, please? And I don't know what it said in response to that over these next 7 seconds. What would be a better ban? I just, you don't have to worry about a Nubrak. He's pretty much out of the meta. Ariel's taken off the board. I get why.
I get it. I don't agree with it.
But I just feel like that's a vote of confidence. Perhaps even hubris from imported support. Leaving Greymane on the board in the hands of 101st Northumberland Fusiliers. It's scary.
Yeah.
Scary.
That's a Chris Bullet's like, they're gonna have a bullet with my name on it.
It says FZ Ignition.
Yes, Z-E-D. Long spelled. Yeah, okay. All right. Let's take it back. Varian's still on the table.
Yeah.
Johanna's still on the table. Haven't seen it yet tonight, but still a possibility. We still need a full warrior come out here. Murden as well. Not necessarily a terrible option. I think Johanna may be a little bit better here depending on these last picks. I think I actually save that potentially here, but we're looking to see how this goes. Obviously, you got one support. There is the potential to run a second. I wouldn't necessarily say it's negative. Okay, I like leaving the tank for the last pick though, because if they go for a strong auto attacker, you grab the Joe. The blinds are there. I like it. I dig it. But yeah, that's Mouth into double tank.
It's easy to forget about him, man.
Because he's so new, and they didn't even go. And so I talk about having another threat. Talk about Greymane, hype the Greymane, talk about the Greymane. That's your other threat.
Yeah, because once Maltheo gets to level 16, Momentum More, sure, Maltheo received a bit of a balance change in this week's patch, but he's still going to be the fly in the ointment for Dahak and Stitches both. And if they're going to rely on just Malfurion for support, we've seen what Lunara can do in the right hands. And I submit to you, 101st Northumberland Fusiliers, they have those hands.
I would agree. I mean, you have 3 strong, dominant playmaking heroes in the form of Genji, Maltheo, and Lunar. Strong. Real strong.
Buff.
And, oh yeah. And Kael'thas and Thrall.
Ooh.
The Thrall I get. He's got good sustainability, good self-sustain, able to keep himself up. Kael'thas, I think in the realm of ranged assassins who can take care of themselves, Kael'thas is less one of them. Trying to land a lift onto Genji, Mouth, and Lunara, good luck to you, friend.
I
get the additional wave clear. Why not Vala, who's got a little bit more mobility, a little bit more dual potential, an escape, and almost equal wave clear?
What that says to me is they're just ignoring all that, man. This comp just screams full confident in our ability to win the game. Yeah. FC Ignition's like, boys, my shoulders are this broad because when I land that hook, I expect Malfurion's root, Gravity Lapse, Thrall's root, the drag. It all needs to be there.
Yep.
And we're just gonna delete whoever we catch. But I really like this Tyrael pick. In this situation, a Sanctification throws all that on its head. That could be how you respond to these hooks.
I agree, and the Tyrael didn't cross my mind. But okay, I need you all to listen to Holoran right now, guys, because he just said the most truth. This is IS saying we are going to play our game. We don't care what you do. You can do what you want, because we're gonna land a hook, and we are going to destroy, end, delete, obliterate, annihilate, send it to the graveyard, wipe from the face of this dear Nexus whoever we so catch in that hook. And I don't care if you got Guardians Age of Kings. I don't care what you do. They're gone. And after that, we'll focus on the rest of the fight. We're going to do that one thing first. We're going to make that thing our own. They don't care. And that's exactly it. You are 100% correct. They are confident in their ability to play the game. I dig it.
When Enverum says you speak the truth, and for those who don't know, Enverum actually stands for in truth in Latin. I learned that. You might be on to something, but we're going to see Over on the left side, and guys, I hope you are all as excited as we are. We are in for a treat. On the left side, we have 101st Northumberland Fusiliers. Jin is playing Tyrael. Picante is on Genji. We do have a pause. Slice Blade is playing Lunara. LZ Gamers on Malthael. And Elhain is on Uther.
Yes, indeed. And I think they're trying to meme here. Oh, okay. So far, okay. All right, interesting times are happening. Yes, and on the other side of the map, we're memeing hard, team. We're memeing hard. If we head to the other side of the map, well, I'm just gonna pull up the
Is this? Are they memeing?
I don't know. He's back. R.
What? Do we bring it back to our face or do? Wait, huh?
No, they're ready. We're fine.
Okay,
Let's stay in
okay,
the video
okay,
game.
okay.
All right, we're good. We're good. We're good.
Okay.
We're good. We're good. Okay. 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 Sir. Sir.
I was like,
Sir?
the Aware doesn't have Thrall.
Yeah, well, because the joke is, I think Aware plays a really good Thrall, but now he's at support, and because he played it in the first game, actually. Yeah. Times.
My
Okay,
word.
other team. Imported support. Rejoining that video game.
The meme's
All
too
right.
dang.
Too dang. Swabs Magoo on the dock, Untraded, playing Thrall. Specialty on that Kael'thas. Oh man, his mage is on Mene level. We got an FC Ignition on that JPL Caliber. Stitches, and of course, the Aware holding it down on his Raptor mount on that Malfurion. Oh baby.
In the chat, Flippy Cat said, important announcement. Cats like the lore. My cats are actually chilling around me right now. So,
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah.
They are very cute.
true story.
True story.
Andy. Malthael's already rotated up top. So, a little bit of a different, approach to the early game for 101st Northumberland Fusiliers. I expect we might see fireworks right out of the gate, but when you consider the massive amount of lockdown on the side of the red team, I might want to just bide my time and wait for sanctification myself now. I'm sitting here thinking about it.
Yeah, we just don't want to fight, really, because, like, you can just kill us, so we're just not going to. And I actually dig that. I mean, yeah, they're going to lose some tower shots, but as long as they can actually keep these healthy, and just play a passive. I mean, Jin's actually just going to lose this mid-game real hard, though, if they keep this up, because their towers are already half out of ammo. That's a bit of an issue. But they, as long as they, I guess, just don't lose too hard, that's good.
Yeah. Not losing too hard would be pretty good, all things considered. Both these teams are pretty much even on experience, though, but the passive play that's been shown from 101st Northumberland Fusiliers has served as something of a green light for imported support as they start to throw their weight around early, getting pressure in the bottom and mid lanes. FC Ignition has been chunked down quite a bit, however. The one concern that I have for imported support's composition is the Malfurion. Will he be able to do enough healing to counteract the pressure of Genji and Luna? And Mal.
Yeah, my issue is Mouse just going to get jumped on by all the dive they have, and I feel like he's really going to struggle with that, especially with just all the heals over time. I mean, obviously, getting jumped on is fine if you can just Twilight Dream him, but in the early game, it's going to be tough.
Absolutely. Both of these teams are nearing the corner of level 4. Picante jumps in, just says hi to Dreded, the Aware and specialty. Not really press too much of an issue. Jin has a chain bomb, backs away. Defender count is rising for the members of imported support. Stitch is getting value already, spreading that damage around with the slam build. And there isn't much of a response yet from the members of 101st Northumberland Fusiliers. Looks like they have other things in mind.
Yeah, they're just going to opt to split soak this, try and push the lanes back out again, undo a little bit of the damage that's already been done here. I'm kind of feeling it to an extent, but they're not getting enough, frankly. I mean, they're just basically giving up a Punisher for free. And all three lanes are still being soaked by IS. So it's not like they're getting ahead in experience. They really didn't do any significant structure damage. That kind of just feels like a waste.
Absolutely. Like, it's not like they have a Sylvanas on their team and it's like, all right, you guys get the Punisher and we'll just take like your fort wall and half your fort. They pretty much lane like it was an AI game. A nice hook goes in on Slice Blade, and Sayonara Lunara, first takedown in the form of a nice hook. FC Ignition curling that evil mustache once again.
Specialty with the trust. That hook was out, and he just threw the tornado down the line of the hook, and he was like, Just bring him in, baby. Just bring him in. And Stitch is like, I can do that. The lift, instantly the blow up, and that's exactly what we were talking about. They just need to land these hooks, and already the passivity is at play from the side of 101st Northumberland Fusiliers. That is going to trip us up at some point in the night, but that's okay.
Yeah.
We'll make it work. My body is ready.
This is that Stitches effect I was talking about earlier. It's like you're so busy worrying about the hook, the engage, that you start to play passively, and then that it just becomes this death spiral to where it's like, oh, you're gonna play passive? You're absolutely like fish in a barrel right now. So we'll just find you, we'll go for the hooks. You're actually, by not doing anything, enabling us to be even more aggressive, and it's starting to pay off already.
Terms we don't hear enough in our everyday life. Death spiral. I dig it. I dig it. But you know what else I dig is this aggressive positioning from IS. They are grabbing these camps aggressively, and I wouldn't be surprised if we actually saw a Bruiser invade, especially if they can pick off here in the mid lane, which is what they're going to look for. FC Ignition to watch for the hook. Oh, Jin and friends. Ooh. Not quite finding it there. Had they done so, though, that would have been it. But then instead, they're actually just going to hard push mid. They got 6 Kaiser Spearmen being like, hey, friends, we're goats. And they are pushing down this mid lane. But Conte and friends are trying to be this annoying, you know, fly in the ointment, as you say. But, you know, in the end, they actually did a pretty good job of defending that. That was solid.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely slowing the advance, but they haven't really shown enough to import support to make them leave. I mean, they have kicked their feet up on the coffee table of 101st Northumberland Fusiliers, and they seem quite comfortable making themselves at home. Like, they're going to go through this middle fort before long, and that could be huge. Even if that fort stands, with it being that low on health, that Punisher stands to be at 80% health plus if they come away with this Punisher, and that could be a huge snowball. That could be heroics, and that's got to be a concern for 101st right now.
Yeah, they're going to have to find some way to either long stall this and just completely ignore for 10, or hard engage now. And I think pre-10 without the Sanct, you know what, you said it kind of almost pseudo-jokingly in the draft, but you're not wrong. Just don't, or actually at the start of this game, I should say, just don't fight without Sanct. You're just not wrong, though. That's exactly what they're doing, though. They are just refusing to fight without sanctification. And once they get 10, the switch is going to flip. So is Genji.
But my concern about that is, consider the opponents they're approaching this game like that against. Imported support, if you give them anything, they're going to take that and more. And by the time they do have the rogues, they do have them now, they do have sanctification, they do have leaping strike. The dragon can become Genji, and we see the standard heroic of choice for Mouthfield, divine shields, no surprise. Now that they have that, now that they can fight on even talent tiers and with their heroics and have the full merit of their composition, they might be more aggressive. But is this already too little too late? I wonder.
Okay, so 2 things happened. One thing happened, and that is Pyroblast. The other thing happened, and that is Divine Shield. Pyroblast has a 100-second cooldown. Divine Shield has a 90-second cooldown, which means that 100% of the time you can de-shield Pyroblast.
And you also have sanctification.
Yeah, that's true. Right, you have Sanct and was Pyro the right choice? My heart says no.
My heart, mind, and soul would be liking to agree. It's going to take some patience from Specialty to get value after that. He's got to worry about Divine Shield, he's got to worry about Sanctification. All that has to go. And if you're in a position where you can throw a Pyroblast after all that, you pretty much won the team fight anyway.
Well, that's what I'm thinking.
So
It's a cleanup. It's a cleanup at that point. I mean, you've won the fight, and there's a straggler running away, and you're like, we should kill them. Like that. But Divine Shield exists, and he doesn't even care, actually.
He's gone.
Yeah.
That armor from Uther is going to be enough there. And that, even that is something to consider. They were like, we don't even need Divine Shield. We don't need Sanctification. We'll just stick our chin out and use Uther's armor to negate this. What were you thinking?
Yeah. I mean, there's just way too many ways to make this do absolutely nothing. And this is the Let's Live Forever comp. I mean, I'm kind of digging it. Spicante has found a friend up in the top lane, so obviously we might actually be in trouble here. I believe he does have resistance. No problemo there. But right now, there hasn't been a fight There hasn't been a fight yet this game. I'm really confused. 1 kill to 0, 8 minutes in, level 12, level 11, 13 around the corner. Keeps her under pressure, and this entire time, Imported Sport has been allowed to free reign, but here comes the fight we're looking for. Specialties there as well. Nice. Silence gets the 3 members of the sanctification as well. The Divine Shield not necessarily hitting the right target. Genji in the backline, though. Malfuri just falls trading on 1 for 1 right now. 2 for 1 right now, though. Set of Technician and friends are running for dear life. Trade trying to do this. Elohim is chasing him down. They have found the Thrall. Orc Lord is gone. And now Elohim's a bit in trouble, but Swabs Magoo, I think, is more so.
Yeah, I don't know if Swabs Magoo is going to make it out of this. Before this team fight started in Verum, I was going to say that 101st Northumberland were pretty much the Magikarp of this game. Like, they were just kind of flopping around, not doing too much. But then they evolved the hard way and entirely wipe Imported Support. They lay in wait. The Viper strikes. It goes off. They lose 1 hero out of that entire progression. But, boy, I tell you, I would take that trade.
Absolutely. You could not get better timing for them getting it right as this next shrine was about to spawn, and they waited for them to step up just an inch too far. They just baited them right into those keep towers and were like, come to me, my pretties, and made that fight work. Their Divine Shield was actually on Tyrael, which I think was meant for the Genji, but potentially a misclick. Either way, that fight still went their way, and now with the Slingshot EXP, they are ahead. However, this is still the chance. We have a lot of heroics up for the side of Imported Support. They can make this happen. 18-13 in terms of Skeletal Defenders. IS is not out of this by any means.
Well, yeah, actually what's really tough about this is, you know, as impressive as that team fight was, the death timers are short enough to where they have to worry about a lot. And Sanctification's not back up. Divine Shield will be up in a few seconds. If Imported Sport pressed the issue, those elements that enable them to be aggressive would not have been there. Specialties low on health. Kael'thas vanishes off the map before our very eyes. Stitches is going to get taken down as well. Picante dashing, zipping and zagging all over the place. Swabs Magoo is going to be the next target. We don't even need Divine Shield. We don't need Sanctification. We're just going to go ham. We're going to go off. We're going to have a pretty good time.
Oh, yeah, that was something else right there. Kael'thas thought he was all right. The Twilight Dream came out, but it was just not nearly enough. The flanks from LZ Gamer on this Malthael have been tactical. They have been precise. They have been looking absolutely solid. He is zoning out these warriors so effectively, making them just making them, I don't want to say useless, but just making them feel so squishy. I mean, especially been playing this whole night, this perception that I can survive X amount of time, and my opponents can, you know, survive Y amount of time. You add the Uther armor to all this, and then you add the damage that LZ is outputting. It's really tough to calculate.
Yeah, I mean, they've kind of taken it for granted to an extent, the front line of Imported Support. It just felt like this assumption, we can just hang out here, we'll take this damage, we're the tanks, why not? They haven't really had to deal with this percentage-based damage. FC Ignition's beginning melted down. Dehaka, even with adaptation, has not been able to adapt to this damage. It's been real.
Yeah, I mean, he's always the last man or dinosaur standing, but it's just not enough. The rest of the team falls around him. He's like, guys, where are we? And honestly, the focus fire onto Kael'thas, the focus fire onto Malfurion has been absolutely impeccable. They've been going in. They've been LZ distracts the front line, and the rest of the team gets blown up by Genji and Lunar. This is exactly how this needs to be executed with the Dragon Blade and the Leaping Strikes. There is no running from that. There is no surviving that. With the Sanct and with the dive from the Tyrael as well, everybody goes in, and no one comes out.
In Verum, what we're seeing right now is careful planning into precise execution. I was talking about, you know, maybe you want to ban out Stitches. You don't want to give FC Ignition that hero. He's been making plays on that hero all night. It seems like this entire draft's philosophy has been to shut down the Stitches. Heavy dive from Lunar and Genji, negate the hook, because we're already here in your face. We also have Sanctification, so we're going to negate any of the damage that you do. And oh, you have solo Malfurion? We will definitely delete Kael'thas before we can do anything about it. So what are you going to do now?
That is exactly what I was thinking. The hook doesn't matter if we're all up in your grill anyway. This is absolutely perfect, but this next fight is going to happen. 16 is here for both these teams. LZ has gone in real deep. There is Sanctification. They're denying so much of that damage, and here goes the Dragon Blade. But that is a big silence as well. Both teams take a lot of damage, but Traded is in there. Stitch is going to be the first one to fall. Specialty has been caught out, and that is all the damage in the world. That is going to be Reset City as Dehaka once again, last dino standing.
When both of these teams clash 5-on-5 and they press their R keys, what we saw happen ends up happening. Full invulnerability from Sanctification. Divine Shield. Malthael wades into a double warrior composition with another melee and sustains forever, shredding down health bars at a percentage. Everybody on the right side of the screen dies.
Yeah, it's really tough, especially fighting in those chokes. Slice Blade too. You cannot underestimate the damage to the Nars. He's kind of been low key. He's the less flashy play in this instance, but honestly, the Sanctifications have been getting so much value, and a nice job there, but waiting out with that Twilight Dream until the Sanctum ran off. But it's really interesting, and Zeus actually made a great point in chat that the Earthquake is pretty useless. I absolutely agree. The Sank is getting basically denying a lot of that right now. They're already so mobile in ways that aren't going to be impeded by that Earthquake. The Sunder would absolutely have been a great way to help disengage, help reset the fight a little bit, especially because of how much the side of the 101st Northumberland Fusiliers have been clustering.
Adding on top of that, as far as Earthquake goes, 101st Northumberland Fusiliers, they don't want to go anywhere. They dove on you for a reason. They're not trying to walk away. They'll leave after you're dead. So I 100% agree that Sundering should have been heroic there. You need some kind of interrupt. I think Import Support is so used to being the aggressors, the initiators of team fights based off of these hooks, that they're now in a situation where they're the ones being jumped on. They're the ones having to react. They anticipated a hook, and then the Earthquake says, like, you're not going anywhere. But what 101st Northumberland Fusiliers says is, like, we're not locked in here with you.
You're locked in here with me. That's exactly it. They're about to go full Rorschach on this as FZ Ignition has found himself on the wrong side of the law. I am the law, says Bacante in this instance, as they are making it worth, sir. And this is exactly it. The game, what started out slow and precise, is now turned into a masterfully executed brawl. They played so passive in the early game, it almost seemed accidental, but they were calculating just how much they can lose before they needed to turn on that switch.
It's been impressive to see. We saw some of the most passive play in recent memory at Hero Site from levels 1 through 10, but once those heroics came online, once those R-keys showed up, 101st Northumberland Fusiliers were like, it's go time.
It's go time. Yeah, absolutely. And here we go. Yeah. Perfect. Perfect. You guys are getting the dankest of memes tonight. Only the dankest from my dankest wine cellar. Delicious. Level 20 is here though, and if I'm the side of imported support, I'm going to import something else going on here. Something else needs to happen in order for them to recover in this game, because they are down not a keep, but 3 levels and a world of infrastructure.
They're going to need to import a miracle. I mean, they are down 2 levels. They don't have their Storm tier talents. They haven't been able to win a team fight since Heroics came on the board. What they need to do is make 101st Northumberland Fusiliers flinch. Make them think a team fight's about to happen. Make them drop Sanctification. Make them use Divine Shield somehow. And then get away. Make sure those heroes hit absolutely no value. And then try to turn a fight. Or catch someone out of position. But the hook from FZ Ignition is going to miss Jin. But Tira has all kinds of mobility anyway. So that was a pretty low chance of success no matter how you slice it. But yeah, if they try to just collide head on 5v5. And they allow Sanctification and Divine Shield to get maximum value. As well as Malthael's heroic. They're going to lose.
I think what basically needs to happen here is they need to extend a little bit, drop the Earthquake, drop the Bile, and run. Bait out as many heroics as they can from their opponents, and then run away, and reset, and then just run back up, like pretend like they're going to go in, bait them in, and then just get the heck out. Maybe get a follow-up hook on the back of that, but really just force them to burn stuff. Make them slow, and then get some big flame strikes, get that damage in, and then re-engage. Then get the tongue, then get the hook. And then maybe that's how they win this fight, but as you said, in a straight-up 5v5 brawl, if all 5 members of the 101st Northumberland Fusiliers go in, there's no coming out.
Absolutely. I'm actually a little surprised that they're hanging around out here. Level 20 is not feasible in a situation where this objective. And they're all just hanging out here together. They're not splitting off, they're not soaking. There's the hook. Forces out the Divine Shield. There's a rogue from outfield. This could be the opportunity for him to start backing away, but Specialty way forward is going to get rocked for his trophy. Conte dashes in, gets the takedown, dashes out. Adaptation nets value for Swatsman through. There's the Twilight Dream, doesn't bring home the bacon too much. There's a hook on Elheim, brings Uther forward. Lowered armor, doesn't matter. Dahaka's going to get ejected from the proceedings. Ouch.
Ouch. Indeed. And I feel like this is the single biggest mistake we've seen from IS tonight. They have a fort in mid. They can defend behind fort, maybe to look for a hook there. They can defend behind keep wall, look for a hook there. There's literally no reason for them to take a weird 3-4, yeah, I got a Hawking Burrow, but a weird pseudo man down engage. Just soak top safely. Just soak spot safely. Soak mid. That's fine. There's no reason. You're Dahaka. There's no reason to take that fight at all. And I think that's honestly the single biggest shot calling error we've seen from IS tonight, which is interesting because it shows these guys can bleed. You know what I mean? Yeah, they're some of the top of the AM scene right now, but occasionally they still make some questionable decisions.
I think it was hubris. I think they're so confident in their ability, like we were talking about in the draft, that they're like, we can take a team fight without our 20s. Let's just walk in there and see what happens. You're gonna get
saw
your
what happened.
Face rocked, as it so turns out. And this is gonna be a Mortar Punisher. This bad boy will be looking to rock and roll down the mid lane. Middle court's gonna be taken down with no consequence. 81% still alive on the Mortar Punisher. Level 20 could be here soon, thanks to Dahaka, who now decides to split off and so makes that decision perhaps too late.
Yeah, the way I look at it right now is the 101st Northumberland Fusiliers. They're a 40 grit belt sander, and IS is just putting their face into it right now, and it is not fun to watch as they are just struggling. That's a visual for you, as they are just struggling right now. But here comes the engage looking for the sun. Oh no, the earthquake has dropped. That is going to be a completely it's not wasted. They didn't time it out in time. Oh my god, the power blast got so much value. Now they're going to try and turn it into the straight as well, taking a lot of damage, and that is the Dragon Blade. Drake is trying to escape right now, and he falls. The fall damage there, beautifully done. That is the blink of the Twilight Dream as well, protecting enough the hook though, trying to get this happen, pulling back into the core, but no, that is going to be a takedowns galore. And man, the 101st Northumberland Fusiliers looking solid.
Yeah, but I mean, even though they're super low on health, so I don't think they're going to be able to end the game. But FC Ignition getting melted down. Whoa. The mark finally leaves, and the flame strike on Elheim is not going to be enough for a takedown. Very close. Could have been worse on both sides. They lose the middle keep. They lose Dahaka and Thrall, but not much else. The Bruiser camp in the top lane got a good amount of value, though. But in Virum, this would be such a different game right now if instead of going for that 18 to 20 team fight, Import Support just YOLO'd bot.
Yep.
Just YOLO'd bot. The bottom lane was already pushed in. You go to the bottom keep wall, you get experience, you forced out a response. You have them rotate down from mid towards you in this awkward manner. If you want to try to take one of these weird team fights where you get value out of Earthquake, you do it by having them come at an angle they don't want to come at. And I don't know. It's a miracle they're still in this game.
Yeah, I mean, that was just a solid defense from them. Oh, there's a pause coming, but I agree 100%. I think that's exactly what they need to do. They just need to force something else for the map. And even, so one of two things happens. Either they force them off the objective, and if they don't die, when they died anyway, but if they don't die, then you slow down the objective, you give your Dahaka more time to split soak. Great. If they ignore you, you get free keep towers, and potentially even a keep if you push hard enough.
Right.
So there's one of a couple things could happen. Instead, they chose to the one thing that would put them farther behind, which was try and contest down a level and a half and die and give up kills.
It's like, yeah, we can split off. We can passively soak. We can stay together and force out a response going somewhere else. We're already back in the game. So
put Dahaka top, push bot as a 4-man.
Or we can go back and just get our faces taken off for us free of charge.
Belt Sanders, man. Belt Sanders.
They're like, I'd like option 3.
Yeah.
But the shrine phase.
Yeah. I like what's behind door number 3. So that's the fire exit. Yeah, I want that one. Yeah, that sounds about right.
There's no stairwell over there. You just fall out and die. It's fine.
It's fine.
Okay.
It's fine. It's good. It's okay.
Shrine is going to activate, however. FC Ignition looking for a hook. Goes
Woo!
out. Doesn't catch Uther or Mouthfeel. That could have been interesting. Shrine phase is going to activate. LZ Gamer wastes exactly 0 time getting this party started. Double Flame Strike. Going to get mostly avoided by 101st Northumberland Fusiliers. FC Ignition's like, oh, you got cooties, Mouthfeel. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Not trying to go.
Yeah. My soul is just fine, thank you. No reaping, but I want to reap. No reaping! As they are getting quite a bit of poking, but FZ Ignition is now out real deep. There goes the heals. And wow, once again, LZ Gamer is not standing in the thing that makes him invincible. Like, gets hit by that. That's a big sound spell, though, and the kills are actually starting to rack up. Oh, man, we're actually seeing IS trying to do this. Haloran, are they making this happen? But no, they're going in deep in the back line.
Lunara jumps in, gets the takedown. Genji still going off. Old Ganjo coming out to play. Jin somehow stays alive. I do not know how. FC Initiation's trying to change all that, though. Genji does fall. And this longer team fight, this staggered progression is starting to favor imported support. Elham could be the next to go down. Looks like he will be. Should have redemption. He'll be back here in a few seconds. That actually could help Slice Blade out a lot. Get the added sustain. Uther does come back. There's the drag, though. Be aware. FC Ignition looking for more. They get the root. They get the hook. Leaping Strike makes it spicy. Does he get out of there? Chain Bomb says no.
Oh my god, this could actually be GG. They played this right. They were behind that entire mid game, but they just played that team fight beautifully. FZ Ignition went and baited so many abilities, was able to survive thanks to that hardened shield. And honestly, that was actually a really surprisingly large Pyroblast. The Disco Ball of Death actually did some work. They're not actually standing in his own sanctification material. And really, that just became a long, sloppy, drawn-out fight. And in the end, Specialty surviving by the skin of his teeth, the Aware was able to get out the heals and somehow made it work.
This game has been absolutely impressive on the side of both teams, but I do believe at the end of it, LZ Gamer does get hooked, is going to survive for the moment. Frozen Punish for 60%, shield's going to fall. I don't see how 101st Northumberland Fusiliers keep this game alive. There's the Pyroblast.
That's it.
Strike! Goes bowling.
Strike! Nice comeback, guys.
Succinct.
100%.
Yep.
100%.
Drake always the class act. I'll tell you one thing, man. That game right there encapsulates what I love about the North American amateur scene. What we saw there was the ingenuity and cleverness of 101st Northumberland Fusiliers. They found a response to FC Ignition Stitches. For all intents and purposes, they should have won that game. Like, once level 10 comes online, they steamroll pretty much the whole rest of the game. But on the other side of that, we see the raw mechanical outplayability of imported support. They go into those team fights with a composition that is definitely struggling, and they adapt. They somehow find a way. I theorized the way they would find success is to negate the value. Well, we both did. To negate the value of Sanctification, Divine Shield. Don't let them just clump together, stand there, negate all your damage. Mouthfeel sucks everybody's souls away, and everybody dies. They managed to spread out and stay far apart enough without dying outright to limit the value of those heroics. They stretched out the time of the team fight, and then their raw micro ability won the day. It was impressive.
It really was impressive. And you hit the nail on the head. It was the sustainability. And the fact that once Kael'thas got that arcane barrier online, he got that little bit of additional survivability that kept him alive just long enough to deal out that game-winning damage. It was really impressive to watch, actually, him trying to trade with Lunara, which shouldn't work. But in the end, it kind of did it because how big and clutch a lot of these Twilight Dreams with the silences. The Thrall, I felt like, got enough value, barely, just enough to make it work. In that last fight, it ended up coming out all right. Just giving that additional sustainability to the roster was solid. Overall, really solid play from both sides. An amazing early game from IS. The perfect response, dominant mid game, and then just a stellar team fight, clutching it out by skin of teeth to win it in the end. And that just shows that Heroes of the Storm, when someone GG's at 5 minutes, that's why you don't. Because if someone's just watching this game and look over at 101st Northumberland Fusiliers, they said, man, they're getting wrecked this early game. They don't have a chance. And they look at the mid game and go, wait, wow, IS is getting wrecked. They don't stand a chance. But anything can happen in Heroes, guys. that game is case and point.
So 6.5 out of 10, man. Exhibit A.
Exhibit A.
The thing that's cool about that game, though, as impressive as the comeback is, the seesaw battle and all, is that if I'm 101st Northumberland Fusiliers, I don't feel discouraged at all. It's like we're just playing against a really good team. Like, we're playing against a team in import support where if we give them a chance to get back into the game, they've got the resourcefulness to take it. So it's just like, as impressive as their play was, as much as effective as their strategy was with their composition to really shut down the Engage, because I still think that composition was sensational to shut down what import support's been doing. Like, hats off to you guys. Being able to craft that response is poetry, in my opinion. But
sensational is exactly it. Yeah.
You still gotta get the core down to 0% before the enemy team.
Yeah, there's that.
And
it's
it's
tough to win the game.
And I think I'm trying to think back. I think that 101st Northumberland Fusiliers got ahead of themselves in that mid lane push because they leaned forward enough. They ate that pyroblast, and I thought the game was over one way or the other. I was like, all right. I was gonna say that comp was so strong they ate the pyroblast and still won through that team fight, but they were reduced in health enough to where they couldn't end the game. They had to back away. They even lost a hero there. If they positioned a little more conservatively, if the pyroblast didn't get hit, they probably could have ended the game there. In my opinion.
Yeah, and it's interesting, especially because I saw a couple pyroblasts that landed, and then like a millisecond later, the D-shield went on. I was like, that was not meant to happen. Yeah. That was meant to be blocked. Someone in chat's asking, Henyu's asking, was the pyro taken just to force the D-shield? And I think that's an interesting question. I don't think so. Obviously, the D-shield wants to go on to Genji. So, and often we actually, because Genji will just deflect it. So, like, that's not even necessarily like, it's weird. I honestly don't know. I'm really not 100% sure on the choice, because realistically, like, there were two instances where the pyroblast only landed and was impactful because the person it was targeted on just walked out of the Sanct. Twice that happened. So it's just sort of like thinking. Yeah. So
yeah, it would be ambitious if they took pyroblast to beat out the D-shield, because they were just D-shield, like that was all going to happen one way or the other.
Yeah.
I can't really justify the pyroblast or the earthquake. Yeah, the earthquake kind of got value, like you said in Rim at the end, but yeah. Sundering would have done so much for them.
I agree, and there's an interesting discussion in chat about like Guardian Mage and King's procs with it versus and how that would have increased that. But no, I agree. I think Sundering may have been the better choice in that instance.
Yeah. What? That game's in the old record books now. Moving on to game 2, we go back to Battlefield of Eternity. Graham, you and I talked about the merits of strategy and coordination that goes into this battleground. And from what we saw out of both of these teams, I think we're in for a great game right now.
I agree 100%. Now that both teams have had an opportunity, I'm sure these teams scrim, but in any given Sunday, now that these teams have had an opportunity to feel each other out, I feel like we're going to see a total divergence in strategy. I don't think we're going to see sort of the same thing tried again and again and again. I feel like we're going to potentially hear. I mean, I could be totally wrong. I could just try and just muscle the way through again. But I feel like we're going to see a change. I mean, IS basically walked forward this entire night using the same basic strategy all around: the stitches, the slow, the blow up, the control. And now I feel like it's time. Maybe we'll see the Illidan again come out from them. But Tassadar makes it through, so here we go.
Okay. This will be the first time we see Tassadar tonight. We had this conversation earlier in Rim. When we see a hero like Tassadar or Auriel get picked first, it's not necessarily them you're worried about. It's who they're looking to enable. Genji was already banned. There are plenty of auto attack damage dealers, Vala, Tracer, things like that to consider that can be turned into absolute superheroes. Importer support opt to go back to the Stitch as well, highly prioritizing that, and they help themselves to the Angel of Hope in Ari.
I dig it. You don't want to give anyone tasks, Ariel, Vala. Just don't do it. It's called the trifecta for a reason. It doesn't really lose games that easily. Tracer's going to be the pick here. All right. Picking that up early, identifying that. So what builds around that? Now, I would like what other here. I mean, we probably will might see a mage with this as well, but I kind of like to see Tastar have multiple heroes he can get value on, even if it's less oblique and a little more subtle, like a Greymane potentially, something like that. So we'll see how that goes here for them as well. I imagine they're going to pick up their warrior. Arthas might not be a bad option here. He does pretty good damage on these immortals, and the control he offers is really solid.
Absolutely. And we've also saw the value of what Arthas brings to the table in slowing down Stitches, but Diablo is going to make their appearance. Now, I think this is actually a really underrated hero on this battleground. There are a lot of nooks and crannies to secure those stuns with Shadow Charge, level 13. That percentage-based damage could go through the roof. So we saw Diablo get banned in the first game, and I do think that speaks to these teams scrimming each other, like you said. They know their strengths. So Diablo isn't necessarily a hero you see prioritized in the 2-3 slot in this situation. But if you got those heroes and those players are like, just look, give me Diablo, I'll win us the game. Why not?
Why not, indeed? So yeah, it was prioritized as a surprise, a little bit banned on our end last time. But yeah, if it's a comfort pick for 101st Northumberland Fusiliers, then definitely something they should be denying it. Don't ban Stukov. You can't play him. Silly people. But I think Malf is the correct call. But obviously Rhaegar is still on the board, and that's likely what they'll take here. He does quite well in this battleground, actually, because Lightning Bond is a good skill. Looking at the bans across the table, though.
Ooh. You gotta worry about old Cho'Gall. I wasn't thinking about him in this situation, but I think that's exactly when he has the most resounding impact. So I get it, sure. I actually wouldn't be too surprised if imported support take Rhaegar themselves right here. Rhaegar is not the worst solo laner. If you look at him in a melee assassin capacity, you put Lightning Bond on him at level 1, you pass that to Stitches, he jumps in, you have Ariel backing him up. If he's able to just play aggressively, the damage starts to add up. So, and it'll also be a huge denial.
Huge.
To,
who are you left with?
Right. You're left with, like, Brightwing, Kharazim. Like, Kharazim could work. But as far as, like, value and the ratio of value and execution, it's a lot easier to get value out of Rhaegar, in my opinion, and Kharazim.
I would agree. There's the Cassie. I wondered if we were going to see the Cassie for the blinds. I wondered if we were going to see the Cassie. She's a great hope generator, and the blinds are going to give a lot of value here. So, who is the support? I imagine it is that fight dog, the Rhaegar Bark Bark. And in that final in that final slot, I think they need a strong. Task can soul lane, but it's not ideal. They need another strong soul laner. Thrall, Greymane still on the table. Malthael's what? Yeah, Malthael's still on the table.
Double
warrior. Yeah, that's it.
It shredded throughout the whole mid game, and they haven't exactly drafted to shut down Malthael. I think Malthael had a huge impact in game 1. I think he's one of those heroes that it's really hard to gauge their value because his abilities aren't the flashiest. Like, he just kind of puts this thing on you, and out of nowhere your health is gone. It's not like a huge orb or something like that from Li Ming. So if I'm looking at this, like, give me Malthael. Rhaegar Mouth. That's where I'd go.
Ooh. That works too.
It does work.
Again, I kind of figured we were going to see a mage at first. That was my gut instinct. That was my gut reaction. But I agreed with you 100% of the mouth pick. I think into this roster is actually really solid. Because they really only have, I mean, they had the Detainment Strike, but you've got the tongue. But maybe the blinds, they were worried that it was going to get too much value. But Tracer and Mouth can very easily be on opposite ends of the fight in an instant. They are very mobile, and I feel like Cassie would actually really struggle to deal with them between the Fend and everything else. So I don't mind Li Ming by any means, but
right.
I could definitely see the argument for both. I feel like this gives a little bit of a safer comp, a lot more poke, engage composition.
Huh?
And it is double support, but it's the Lily instead. Hey, buddy.
When I'm surprised at the Lily pick,
When you know things have gone awry.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, I understand. Lily is another blind. Cassia could have a field day. A large part of the damage, 401st Northumberland Fusiliers. Tracer. You blind Tracer, you take a lot of the damage out of the way. But I wasn't expecting Lily, man. I wasn't expecting Lily at all.
Yeah, the Panda Pal was not exactly what I was expecting. I think I was looking more towards. I don't know. I mean, the double support, we postulated it with the double front line and the solo back. But Cassie is not a traditional backliner, though. She's like a pseudo Tychus, mid rangey, pokey proddy, kind of Q maybe sometimes, but also I don't know. Man, I'm less sold on this now. That Lily, I love her. Don't get me wrong, and she hurts like a truck sometimes, but
yeah,
I'm unsure.
Not sure how I feel about all this, but game 2, potentially the last game in the night. Might actually have a pause of special T left. On the left side, it's 101st Northumberland Fusilier Slice Blade, formerly Italian, so on Tracer. Jin is playing Diablo. LZ Gamers playing Tassadar. Elhams on Rhaegar, and Spicy Picante playing Lily.
Oh, baby. Spicy indeed. On the right-hand side of the red trunks, we have imported support. We have the Aware on Ariel, specialty on that Cassius Swapsmagoo on the Dahaka. Rated playing that Lily and FC Ignition looking for this first hook on the Stitches. And Picante's like, really? Really, though? Oh, can we talk about Picante's leading, though, for a second?
Oh, one trick?
Yeah, the one trick. The one.
The one. So, for the longest time, there's a quasi meme going around that Picante pretty much only played leading. This is one of his best heroes. So definitely watch out for his level play. Nice overpowering the Shadow Charge. FC Ignition's like, wait, I'm supposed to be the one landing hooks. Why am I getting dragged all the way over here? But Picante brought to the forefront and taken down. The tables have turned.
All right, okay. So I slightly understand more the Lily pick. Because blinds are good when you have Cassia. In that instance, we had 4 members blinded, and then another 4 members blinded. They were blinded literally that entire time. They were blinded for 4.5 seconds.
It feels bad.
It feels bad, man. All right, no, I understand this draft a hell of a lot more, and oh my god, Special T is hitting like a literal truck. He is, and not like a 4x4, more like a semi, like a 16-wheeler, like a monster truck. I mean, just think of like he's Optimus Prime right now. It's basically what's happening.
No brakes. Like
no
just
brakes. They were not installed.
First Immortal is gonna be here after an impressive show of force from imported support. You doubted the Lily pick. That's what they say. Well, I stand
corrected. I quickly changed my mind.
Yeah. Tamer Strike goes in on Slice Blade. Not too bad if you landed the Tamer Strike. Oh, that hook was almost there by FC Ignition as well. Slice Blade is like, I gotta kind of watch my P's and Q's here. I'm supposed to be a little more agile than all this, but they're fine with me.
I love the prediction from FC Ignition. I mean, he was off by like a half a second, but his location on the timeout on the recall was 100% perfect. I mean, that is not easy to do. Your game sense, your map awareness, and positional awareness has to be like turned up to 11. Really nicely done. Still pretty much even though in terms of the overall stance of this game, they're just dipping and jiving. You know, they're just getting some damage in. And Jin is looking to make something happen here with this charge. Specialty is manning up though. The hook does not quite connect there, and the teams just need to be a little bit cautious as both sides are just kind of passively trading a little bit here.
Nice drag over the wall on Tassadar. Forces out the dimensional shift. Slice Blade, seen better days. Gets the shield from Tassadar. LT Gamer. Without dimensional shift and that low health bar could be a potential liability. Swapsmagoo's on the chase. Makes me turn out to be correct. So that's going to be a takedown on Tassadar. But the swift turnaround on Ariel. FC Ignition hung around with 35 health for way too long. Picante goes off thanks to cooldown reset. Slice Blade! Oh my lord, the micro play. You put the bomb on and I'll tip my hat goodbye with the recall. Nice.
Slice Blade was like, hey Lily, you're going on an adventure. And an adventure was had. Unfortunately, I think not the one she had in mind. Nicely done there for both sides. These teams are so evenly matched. This is an absolute pleasure to watch.
This is Heroes of the Storm at its finest. I mean, you see this level of play in the HGC. The amateur scene is alive and well. You see a nice response from 101st Northumberland Fusiliers. Nice detainment strike. Dimensional shift does get used. Jin with the body check on specialty into the boards. Rhaegar is going to go down, however. Slice Blade puts the bomb on specialty again. They are able to teleport out of there with the recall. Conte hangs around. Could be the recipient of a brand new hook. Have to watch out for that. Shadow Charge goes in on Swabs and Magoo. Doc hits his W key, gets out of dodge.
Yes, indeed, nicely done. And I love the fact that FC's like, I could throw this hook here, but really, what's the point? They're just letting Cassie step back. Also, the fact that, you know, Cassie's been constantly getting so much value out of that passive, just keeping moving, keeping mobile. The only time specialty is not moving forward is when Jin is shutting that down. Speaking of Jin, finding the aware in a rough situation, nicely done. They're going, the hook is completely off from Fset Ignition, not predicting that sudden back out. But with that, that is the Immortal going down. This first Immortal of the game is going to be going the way of the 101st Northumberland Fusiliers. They are looking strong in this early game.
This is Heroes Hype Tempo Storm right here in VRAM. This is what it's about. The games like this, of this caliber, are why people show up on Wednesday nights and they have a good time. Like these teams, like you said, evenly matched, exciting, micro and macro play across the board. Games like this are why I love Heroes of the Storm.
Same, dude. These are the games that make casting just so much fun. We have the opportunity to call out all of these amazing plays. I don't know about you guys, but a lot of this stuff doesn't happen in my early games. This is where I get my fill of the action, like sick angles like that. Pythagoras would be proud. Jin is channeling his inner 6th century Roman. That's just fine. Level 7 now going to be reached for both squads as these builds are going to round themselves up a bit here. But the push has been very real for the side so far. The 101st Northumberland Fusiliers, and I like their prioritization of looking at the overall map.
Yeah, they're getting value all over the place. This is a 2-lane map, and they have presence in both. They get the Immortal, pushes through the bottom wall, but then Tassadar and Tracer hanging out top to make sure that they apply the requisite amount of pressure up there as well. If without more of a response, we do see that top 4 eat a good amount of damage. Swabs and Magoo is just like, guys, like full Bible thump. I would really like for you to stop. Like, don't. They're not having any of it.
Yeah, it's just sort of this inexorable push forward. They just want it. They want that fort. They want to reset themselves up in the bot lane and just get all of this initial early game. I call it superficial experience because it is in terms of structures, but now the rotation's coming in. Tracer is making her opinion. Cheers, love. The cavalry's here, and so is Jin, though, as he gets forced back by the aware. Nicely done. The heals are going, but that is a massive pulse punch. We'll see a lot of damage, but nice heals coming from Yari as well. As Tassadar is the one to fall hook, doesn't quite connect, but that is a beautiful recovery and rotation from Swabs. His friend is important support, showing some life.
Important support, but like, hey, you asked for this team fight. You engaged us. They get the takedown on Tassadar, and they're looking to do more damage. The damage strike into the drag. Sets up a lot of damage on the Jin. Slice Blade having a tough time stepping in. Low on health, he's able to get out of there, but the drag is already back. Boatloads of damage goes in on Jin, but they're not able to take down Diablo. Action.
Jin had like 4 health pools, man. That was not even cool.
They were giving him the business, man. They weren't able to get the takedown, however. Both teams, for the most part, still even on experience. Level 9, not far away at all for the members of 101st Northumberland Fusiliers. Next Immortal phase is up. How do they prioritize?
Well, both teams need to be looking for 10. That's really the big thing here. The heroics cannot be undervalued. Imagine they're both going to go back, just play defensive. In this case, I actually like the prioritization of getting this bruiser camp here from the side of the 101st Northumberland Fusiliers. And now as a response, they've got to try and back up. Cassie and Lily are here. They'll actually clear this out pretty fast because blinds are good. And it's a defensive game. Play for 10, play your game. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, both these teams definitely have the similar ideas in mind. Bruiser Camp is already picked up, though, for 101st Northumberland Fusiliers. So as far as macro play goes, they have the advantage in that regard. There's a Detainment Strike, there's the hook onto Diablo. Jin's able to get out of there. Slice Blade with the cheeky bomb, not able to set up a takedown. The orb hits Draded in the face. Wakes him up for a little bit, but no low health bars.
Yes, indeed. And Swabs Magoo has secured his team level 10. But on the other side of that, the 101st Northumberland Fusiliers have found it themselves. Whereas Waldo is over as the aware is attempting to get force without. Nice dive, though, from Jin going in, trying to make time. He's got a nice full health bar. The rest of the team has arrived in Jin's rough spot. The bouncy ball of death is going in here as well. Specialty and friends are totally fine because the jug of 1,000 cups for Draded is here. Sustainability for this roster. Oh, man, that hook almost connected. Haloran That's a lot of heroics burn now, though. Can they keep sustaining through this?
FC Ignition's like, dude, I was off by like 2.5 pixels from landing that hook. A nicely, perfectly placed force wall allows for the disengage. That could have been calamitous to say the least for 101st Northumberland Fusiliers, but they were able to get away. Again, FC Ignition was really looking for that hook.
Yes, indeed. I'm really looking for Picante right now to just start dishing in that damage. He's the one who needs to make it happen. He's got the mana to do so. He needs to get himself some critical mass. Look for him and Jhin to just synergize and land the abilities. That's what I'm looking for here. If they can get this going, they can make something happen. FC Ignition, of course, is the one across the board as well, pushing him right back into that nice cleanse that helped disengage, though, and the force wall as well. Nice response from the side of the 101st Northumberland Fusiliers.
Yeah, that cleanse was spot on and perfectly timed. That could have spelled the end for Jhin easily with the follow-up damage that you know Importer Support were looking to put on Jin's face. But the poke damage from Picante is going to be here. This is the value that we were talking about out of Li Ming. Anytime it becomes this prolonged progression, Li Ming can just safely hang out on the side and get in that poke. Being a nuisance for sure. There's the hook, forces out the dimensional shift, swabs Magoo on the flank. Picante's out of mana though, so as this kicks off, a lot of the offense is not going to be there. Shadow Charge into the force wall, forces out the response. Future Bile goes in, Specialty looking to get that damage in, vaults forward with the fin, takes down Diablo.
Yeah, very delayed APOC there is, causing Jhin to fall. Not ideal here right now, as that is going to be the main warrior, the front line down. The rest of the team needs to go in and try to deal as much damage as they can on this other immortal, but the side of Imported Support is doing everything they can to take this thing down. However, it is actually going to be a fairly close race here, Halorn. If it's going to be close, and actually...
Oh my... I don't think I've ever seen it that close. 26. 26. Are you kidding me? By the thinnest of margins, 101st Northumberland Fusiliers say not even close, bro. We're gonna come away with the second immortal of the game.
That is the teeniest little shield. There it is.
Dread blinked hard at the shield and it dropped.
Be gone. Okay. I mean, that's okay. That's pretty much what happened there. Oh, baby. FZ Ignition, though, has found some friends, but the blinds are here. The rest of the team need to make something happen. Slice Blade spicing things up a little bit here, chasing this down. Still a very even game, though, across the board. Both teams have so...
The next level play to put the pulse bomb on there.
He
I'm not sure.
Too.
Yeah. I'm not sure if he meant to put that down to slow down the rotation or if he just thought somebody was there. Either way, that was pretty next level. The blind is going to interrupt or negate the damage from the Rhaegar lunge. Shadow Charge goes in on the aware. The hook just misses from FC Ignition. Swabs Magoo looking for action. Force wall allows Doc to be on the other side so he can get away. If it was the other way around, that could have gotten a little rough for the deck. So.
Yeah, this is an interesting situation with both teams not having level 13 yet. Jhin decides he wants to go into Damage Trade, doesn't quite connect it. Look at that damage from the man himself. Picante is putting the hurt on Imported Support right now. Specialty has been caught. He's been found. There's a lot of heroics burned. Everything is going down. Specialty somehow surviving through this right now, but no, it is not enough as the heals are coming in. Nice dodge away. Swallows Magoo avoiding the Pulse Bomb. Nicely done, but that does not matter as the force, that is the 104th Northumberland Fusiliers. Charging strong.
That cleanse was about as perfect as it could possibly be, but the overwhelming pressure from 101st Northumberland Fusiliers proves to be enough to take down the Amazon. Both of these teams do have their level 13 talents. Immortal phase will be here in 20 seconds. Buying time for both to potentially go back and go for their bruiser camps. You see are already floating around there. Picante should be able to make short work of that bottom fort. That does go down. Macro pressure should be had on both sides by way of bruiser camp. And like you said, Barum, this game is even.
But with this, a distinct advantage is now going to go the way of the 101st Northumberland Fusiliers. They cleaned out that bottom. It's got pressure in it already, and now an additional bruiser. This is now looking to the keep. This is where things start to get scary. And look at this trade right now. Oh, baby. That is definitely favoring the side of the 101st as Picante finds some friends. And Slice Blade is there, though. Already dropped the Pulse Bomb early, so he's going to be recharging this throughout the fight. Nicely done there from them. As the pressure comes into, Haka's now forced to back and deal with it because that is the key pressure. Specialty's going in deep with that Chain Lightning, but Jhin is in there deep. He's shrunk, and they want him, Halloran.
Yeah, they hook him. FC Ignition lands that Shadow Charge, actually used for a disengage tool on Swabs. Magoo gets Jin the heck out of dodge, lower the armor. Ancestral Healing is going to connect. Slice Blade already had another Pulse Bomb, not able to get the takedown. We see the Jug of 1,000 Cups nearly reset the health bars of all of imported support. Picante gets hooked, is able to teleport out of there. This is a seesaw battle.
Yeah, man, this second support, I questioned it at first, but these Jug of 1,000 Cups have been getting so much value. That being said, this is a new fight, and the heroics are down. Slice Blade wants to make this happen, and they are going in now. The Force not quite connecting as well. Nice drag, though! Finding him, but no, there's the recall, but Slice Blade is out just by the skin of his tippity toes, as the rest of the team is there still trying to take this down, but look at the damage. Oh, man, coming out. The hook finds him again. I cannot believe this, Halloran.
Both of these teams are living on a knife's edge, and they make it look comfortable. I'm absolutely amazed. Apocalypse finally goes down, but it's not going to be enough to set up a takedown. The bouncing ball bounces on Tassadar's head, takes him down, netting the 7 for the members of imported support, and that will pave the way for their Immortal. And they're like, look, 26 health? Not so much this time, but...
Oh, baby. And in the meantime, the fort fell in top. The value was had by that camp. Taking out that bruiser camp in the bot lane, Swabs Magoo rotated down and did that. It meant all the world because it saved that keep in the bot lane. Beautifully executed, but only up half a level. Now is their chance to recover the superficial XP. Nice dodge from the Aware. As they're going to be taking this down. This will get them with this fort and this tower just shy of 16, and one of these keep towers will get them all the way.
This could be huge. This is the snowball effect that could very well end this game. Level 16 will be picked up way before 100 first level Cumberland Fusiliers will be able to say the same thing. If importer support gets 1, 2 takedowns, that's at least keep, potentially even game.
Yes, indeed. If they can start to snowball this, Jin needs to be careful if he gets caught. Nice cleanse! Beautifully executed by Elohim. Baiting it out. Nice enough, but there's Entertainment Strike. Oh, no, Slice Blade. Not where he wants to be. The blinds are going, especially he's going to be dishing so much damage here. Jin's getting wrecked. Elohim, though, nicely dobbed with the heals. The LC Gamer trying to put him into a corner with this Force Wall, but they are just relentless, Halloran. This keep is gone.
As is the Blue Immortal, so the damage is definitely going to be... No! The long-range hook forces out the recall from Slice Blade, but then the follow-up damage in on Tassadar. The relentless pressure brought by imported support paves the way for more. They're hanging out. Pulse Bomb's not going to be able to set up a takedown. Jin gets the Shadow Charge in. Stitches gets dropped. Shish Kebab by Picante. Jug of 1,000 Cups goes in. Lily stepped forward, trying to help their teammates out. There's the blind. Actually buys time for Tracer to go down. The Cavalry gets sent back.
The reverse jabaited from imported support. Just when you thought the fight was over, there's a hook. And just when you fight the thought was more over, there's a dragon. And just when you thought the fight was over again, there's a Detainment Strike to the face and a dead Tracer. Beautifully done. Level 16 has now been reached, so they are on an even footing, but a very, or a relatively damaged top keep and a very damaged bottom keep. So damaged that it's gone. Will put imported support in a superior position on the map.
I think that was the triple inverted jabaited double reversal. The classic. We see it all the time.
The classic. I know, every year in the Olympics.
I'm telling you, man, games like this make me, like, it makes me want to play this game, and it makes me want to play it at a higher level. Both of these teams are nothing short of inspiring right now from what we're seeing. This kind of micro play, these teams living on the edge with no health bars, making huge plays, and then responding to huge plays, it's breathtaking to watch.
I mean, we're just halfway there. We're just living on a prayer right now. I feel like this is the theme song of this matchup, because who doesn't need more Bon Jovi in their lives? That's fair. That's fair. The flank from Dahaka is going to be very real in this instance. He's going to get himself all speedy up right now. He's going to push in with this camp, try and make something happen, but always the threat of the brush stock is real. In the mid lane, Jin is going to look to just find that engagement. Swabs Magoo's like, all right, it's time to leave now, friends.
I would like to go, please. Oh, the Force Wall actually just locks him in place. I think he burrowed? Yeah.
Yeah, he got out.
He's like, I'm taking my ball and I'm going home. Burrows towards the middle portion of the map. Next immortal phase is here. Here's the rotation from 100% Northumberland Fusiliers. Swabs Magoo gets isolated, does not have Burrow, doesn't have that get out of jail free card. LZ Gamer raises his brow. He's able to get out of there with next to no health. Surprise! Pulse Bomb goes in. Specialty not going to be able to get taken down off of that. There's the shield, the recall. Slice Blade jumps back. Both of these teams at each other's throats.
And this is where, in these long, drawn-out fights, there is a massive advantage to the side of Portis, especially when he lands hooks like that! Channeling his inner JPL, that's that ignition. On fire all night long on his stitches. Beautifully executed. 18-17, and this Immortal is going to cause the halftime. Here comes the Future Bile as well going in, and that is too much to stay to deal with as the Fight Dog falls. Jug of 1,000 Cups going in, and I think this might be GG Halloran. If Jin falls here, that's going to be it. The APOC is coming in, but I'm not sure if it's up, but maybe it is. All this damage is here. Beautiful Crystal Aegis, though, saving him, and that is going to be another takedown. Imported support is on fire.
Picante tried to bet the entire farm off of that Apocalypse. 4 members stunned by that heroic as Diablo was caught. Was not able to get that chain bomb, that cooldown reset effect. These team fights in Verum, the narrowest threads. It's just amazing to watch. I am literally without words.
You made the comment earlier that you ban FC Ignition's stitches, and the amount of hooks he lands in these team fights that literally change the face of the game, it's too much.
Yeah.
It's just too much. He is absolutely worth the ban in these fights. He is, the moment you think you're safe, you're not, and he has just put his team back in this moments like that. Like if the stitches had recalled and was there, LZ was dead.
Yeah, I mean, the moment that Pale connected with LZ Gamer over that Immortal, I was like, well, this is about to be real bad for old Tassadar. There goes another hook. Not able to set up too much, though. Pulse Bomb goes in on FC Ignition. Jin jumps onto the back line the hard way without Apocalypse. That's going to be interesting. Picante is going to be targeted by Special T. Li Ming, the Realm doesn't need you that much. You're out.
Yeah, but the abilities aren't quite connecting, though. Jin has found himself caught out a little bit here. The Aware, though, he cannot fall. He is so crucial, this push. This is still a very healthy Immortal, though. Level 20 is now here. The core has arrived in the sights of imported support, and they're going to look to end the game, Halloran. If they take this, it will be a 2-0. Nice cleanse, though, keeping her alive. Oh, and then offensive, he just denied the Pulse Bomb beautifully done. They are trying to make this. This is the final stand. This is the choke, but I think that's going to be it. GG is called, Halloran. I think that's going to be game.
Yeah, the Immortal still has plenty of shield. The core can't say the same for itself. There's no way. Tracer's not going to be enough. GG in one of the most incredible best of threes we've had here at Heroes Type Tempo Storm Series. Imported support emerged the victors of week 4. First time in this series. Looking pretty good.
They are looking damn good. That was a solid set of plays, back and forth, awesome individual, like mechanical play, solid macro shot calling. That's everything you want. And you said it multiple times. These guys can compete at the highest HGC level. We could conceivably see one of these teams playing in the HGC in the next year. Really big ups to them. They've all put in the work and it shows. I mean, we can nitpick here and there on draft, on calls, but at the end of the day, these guys are insanely talented and deserve all the respect and, of course, the points, the spoils here at the Heroes Type Amateur Series, partnering with our good friends over at Tempo Storm. So be sure to go add to that prize pool, guys. If you haven't already, you can donate at a free $1. Of course, if you want to add a little bit more to the pot, you can do that too.
Absolutely. I mean, these guys deserve it. These games have been fantastic.
These games have been fantastic.
But no, they genuinely have. I mean,
yeah.
If I'm an HGC team, I'm looking at this on Wednesday night, and I don't want to go to the Crucible.
Yeah, I'm seeing this, and I'm like, well, that's no fun.
I don't want to go to the Crucible because these are just two of the teams.
Yes.
That could very well find themselves in the Crucible. There's so much talent in the amateur scene, at the amateur level. Either one of these teams, if they played like this in this past Crucible, their Friday, Saturday, and Sunday would be busy.
Real busy. But you know what? We got to get some more information here. We got to pick some brains because we actually have an interview. The Classic Argy is saying we have an interview with our boy Draded.
We had a chance to meet and hang out with Draded quite a bit over in Vegas at the finals, so it'd be really cool to get a chance to talk with him. Draded, man. Congratulations on your victory. You guys show up in week 4 Heroes Type Tempo Storm, and you do not disappoint by any stretch of the imagination. How does it feel?
Well, thanks, man. I appreciate those words. And yeah, it was awesome to, finally get to see a figure that's been cast us for so long in Vegas. It was awesome. So, as you know, LFM disbanded after a pretty disappointing end of the last season. And then, you know, been talking imported, I was on that team originally and, making the transition back. And it feels pretty good right now.
Yeah, I would say so. You guys look incredibly sharp. A question that I have for you guys. So in game one of this best of three, uh, levels 1 through 10, you don't see much aggression out at all out of your opponents. Level 10 comes around, the mid game turns into a very different beast. How did you guys communicate and adapt to hang on and have that resiliency to end up taking game one?
Yeah, it was a really interesting situation because Thrall, we went the questing talent at 1, Crash, and the Wolf talent. So obviously we're going to want to kind of fight early. And they just never fought us, and it was pretty weird. And then they kind of just made a really good engage on us. And then after that, we were just having a lot of trouble with their dive. And then, I think that they probably could have capitalized a little bit harder on their level advantage. But, we just said we got to stay as 5, get as much safe soak as we can. And then eventually we found Earth and Shields, the answer to all the dive at 20.
Yep. And we are actually having an interesting discussion about the Sunder versus the Earthquake and all that kind of stuff. And then I comment like, but after 20, then it worked. It wasn't quite working before 20, but after 20, it definitely turned a switch. But man, what a great series. Obviously, how does it feel back to be on? You mentioned you were on this roster before. What's it like? Is it like coming home, or is it obviously some new faces, a new dynamic? How is that going for you?
It's pretty nice because I've played with all the guys before, multiple times, whether it be Team League, Hero League, of course, played with FC Ignition back when we ended up qualifying for the tournament in last, September. Right now, we're having like a bit of an internal like switch around. We don't know if we want me to be the tank or we want FC Ignition to be the tank. We're both kind of flex players, but we just know that if we can work together like as 5 as a team, then we can be one of the strongest teams in the Open.
Absolutely. So I guess if you're here now at the top of this, what is your advice for those players looking to come up, looking to be where you are right now? What should they be doing to put a team together, to practice? What are some of the things that they can do to just, elevate themselves to the next level?
It takes a lot of individual practice personally. Like you hear a lot of the issues of Hero League and whatnot, but I think personally it's a really good way to just practice overall mechanical skill and just gameplay sense and whatnot. So I think Hero League's huge. And when I was playing for LFM, when I had to play these like high mobility assassins like Zeratul and Valera, I would just like go in try mode for like maybe 20 minutes before scrims and just like practice rewind combos for a while. So I think that ended up helping me take me to maybe like the next level.
Really good insight, man. You called us figures, but I have to say you're a figure in this community yourself. I have a lot of respect for you individually. I mean, like you've seen so many different angles of the amateur and the pro scene. You were a Heroic 4 finalist at Heroes of the Dorm. You were on one of the teams that made it to the Crucible. Or while you didn't make it into the Crucible, you've seen the highest portions of the Open Division.
For sure.
So one thing that I'm really curious to hear your insight about, and this is something I've theorized talking with Inverum and Kala and other people in the community, that the competition in Open Division Phase 2 feels like an entirely different beast from the first phase. So you being in that as a player, would you agree with that sentiment?
I think right now, it definitely is already like a higher level of competition. I think the structure from HGC Open 1 helped put in place a lot of factors that the amateur scene has been needing for a while, which is just constant tournament play, constant practice. And right now you're seeing a result of that as in like the top, I'd say like 3 teams are definitely better than any of the Open teams were at this point in the last phase. So I'd say the competition is definitely pretty fierce in the Open tournament right now.
Well, man, you are a large part of that. Your play has only continued to improve. You guys are looking sharp. I
Well,
have
thank you.
every confidence that you
Yes.
guys could very well, like I said, you guys keep playing like that. Your Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays could be pretty busy pretty soon.
Oh, I know. Yeah, well, I'd hope so. That'd be the dream, right?
Absolutely. Do you have any shout outs or is there anything you want to say to your growing fan base before we let you go?
Shout out to Imported. Shout out to Heckram J, who's in the room beside me right now, who's chilling. Shout out to LSU, who, if we don't end up making HEC, then you'll see LSU back in Here's the Dorm, and,
Nice.
we'll be a force to reckon with.
Oh, baby.
Absolutely. And Verum, any other questions for the young man?
I think that's it, dude. You said it so succinctly. Congratulations once again, man. You guys looked solid tonight. I mean, there's some back and forth moments, but I feel like you guys put on a clinic of recovery. If you're ever behind in a game, that's how to get back in it. So, man, thanks for putting on an awesome show. Look forward to seeing more from you.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Stay positive and don't die.
Yeah, that's right. All right, see you guys.
All right, man. Take it easy. You have a
See
great
ya.
night. Congratulations again to Imported Support for their phenomenal play from beginning to end. This is their first time in Heroes Hype Tempo Storm Series 2, and I can't wait to see them again. Rising stars in the amateur scene. You got to watch out for those guys. I have an immense amount of respect for them. But that was an incredible way to round out what's been a very fun night. We want to give a special shout out to old Timbo for the 4-month resub. Get your hypes in the chat and everything else. Feels good,
Oh,
man.
baby.
Congratulations.
Timbo doing
man.
so much work behind the scenes for years, for literally years, and it feels like now this Timbo has been doing so much, guys. Like you've seen stuff from him that you didn't even know it was from him. So big ups to Timbo, guys, for helping us out here. And of course, Lauren, thanks for having me. Everybody over here, so thanks for having me tonight. It was an absolute blast, man. This is probably the most fun I've had casting in a long time. I think maybe not having to run production just takes a level of stress off. It's quite pleasant, I have to say.
Pretty neat. It's pretty neat.
It's pretty nice. Yeah.
Thanks to Argy for doing all the obs work. Fantastic camera work there. Big shout out to all the admins that work tirelessly behind the scenes to make this production as smooth and seamless as it is. It's not just us up here talking about the video games. There's a lot that goes in, a lot of passion
Oh yeah.
behind the scenes that makes Heroes Hype such a special part of this community, and I'm personally thankful every time I get to show up and take part in it. But for now, this is going to conclude week 4 of Heroes Hype Tempo Storm series. Hope to see you guys again next week, 9 o'clock Eastern. No better place to find amateur action, I submit to you. And those games are a strong case for that argument, to say the least. But for now, I'm Lauren, joined by Enverum. Give a follow to this guy at Enverum Gaming over on the Twitters, twitch.tv/Enverum as well. One of the coolest guys in the scene. Got to hang out with him a lot of respect for the guy.
Well, with the shout out like that, come on, man, you're making me blush. And of course, give Haloran the follow at _Haloran on Twitter, twitch.tv/Haloran. You stream much more than I do, so go sub to this man. Go give him your energy as well. And of course, tune in and I'll love to hear us as well. Thanks once again so much for having me. It's 1 a.m., man. I think it's time to call it a night. It's been an absolute blast, an absolute pleasure. And no, Aether, we didn't forget you, buddy. You've been around the scene for a while. So take it easy, guys. Lauren, sign us out.
You guys have a great night. Till next time, we'll see you around.